Ojai. Fire will burn you. Fire will burn you. Maybe I have to say this that, when you hear fire will burn you, there's nothing literal about that message. It's all in a friendly fire will burn you way. So I'm channel. Right, so Musa is ready to rumble, and if you're also ready, please don't forget those messages. So if you are ready, like Musa is, kindly join the do. As I remember those days, Hazakes Football Club say Hasma we go do. Hasma no be asun tiasio so na ye kekako. Anyway, oh, my dear, na kai kama pa o. Show kai we no anya any problem we no nyina ka ho. Say equipment. And na ka me penisa in fact honestly. I really cherish how the thing was. So you, my producer, now where you may feel so, but me can't wait. Anyway, so this is a program called Fire Will Burn You. And then I'm hoping to get, I think Mr. Kwesiakwa is coming nicely. It's going down again. Mr. Kwesiakwa and Uswacha and the others to come join us to discuss the daylight robbery, the daylight thievery. Ewudi sem ewika sem a ekoso ewo ye krom ho entwa ye kra monies are just being spent. I mean, like I said the other time, in my day, bribery, taking of bribes and collection of giving of bribes were done in privacy, in private. Ubia unam hekra na okase me koma obi bribe. But today, as we speak, it is all over the place. Look at the NPP flag bearer contest. The amounts of money being banded around. Apparently, Baumia has got a sackload of Ghana cash cedis going everywhere, bribing everybody so that he'll be voted for. I mean, I wonder. You see, even though we all know the billions that the Bank of Ghana printed and apparently missing, it is there to be used for election 2024. But how many can everyone be bought? And will people be so gullible as to, accept money and vote depending on how much they get? Or people will actually use their conscience and say, look, these people, as they say, they are just bad trouble. They are just trouble. These people are not good and are fit for purpose. So let's just get rid of them. In any case, we will discuss all this as time comes on. But say we share the course for Ghana sometimes meet you na ma usumiti. And then Ghana. Look at what's happening in West Africa as we speak. Just look at what is happening in West Africa as we speak. We West Africans have got a unique way of practicing democracy. Our unique way. It's all about who can shout best, and mostly ethnic and tribal links, drumming and dancing. Dance your way to election time, vote, and that's it. The other day, that was exactly yesterday, I watched Al Jazeera TV and I saw this man, what's his name? The Nigerian president, said Tinubu. I saw Tinubu talking and, talking the oppressor's language. Yeah, we have to sustain democracy to bring, democracy will bring freedom and development. Obika We've heard this and time and time again. But you and I know that the sort of democracy we are practicing in our countries in West Africa is actually not much to admire, honestly. Not much to admire at all. Let's go to this one. Let's go and listen to Mr. Kwesiche Dakwa. Kwesiche Dakwa, that's KKD. Kwesi, Enko.
Hey, Ghana. It's in the drone, ye nimusi bibi. Ewa hwa. Say ye. En ha yen kwa. En ha ya damfo bi pe. Na emom eha oman ni nyinara. Obi ko wi abanche a. Ne da ko hye fiase ne na yakaka de tantantan. Ekom de obi ma na okofo obi paano a ye be chi na tum. Na emom so obi ye krachi. Na se ofa pen. Na ode ye ade a etomra a ebo oman a oye krachi nti ye krachifo na yes shatare papati ye ka mo no yes ye nka ya chi obi ne ye bo no kwan ho de ya na ye gina nchen ne ye sere na sabe why na ma krachi tumi se ono etumi twa sa sika yi why so na ma ne sa tumi se ono tumi kire se sika we media man kronfo bi so mo mfanye ne omo pe ana why so na kire ne se ne omo kwaye no kra na ebeba mfaso ama oman no tumi ni fi tumi ne efi wanye ne ye si ye pamne na enye yi a ono ankasa mfa n'anim nyam kakra aka no onka ne dua nhye ne nan ntem na onsi fom na sabe se na owu a oman na emo tom enkrofo woni mu de ye dooso wo Ghana adan ne ye saa adan ye ho se obi o ye krachi bia wonya baby papa ejina no ono ye bone a ye nka obi oya ketesie bi a wenye pepi papa edwina no ono ye bone a ye nka na ohiani bi obi enim ne de oya bone a ye beka no ya se ye nyai sa de na oman na bebo bone ye bone papa ye papa bone bi wo ma wo ya wo hye obi na wonko awaye na wodi ku ho bone bi so ho a wo ya wo de say oman ni nyinara na no echi no pesa wo da ho tena no oman ne ehihye usika ma no oman ne ma oka oman ne ma ofie na wo ni wabusuafo mo gimani wa bra wo bo oman no enti krachi ben no wa Ghana onimu se akrachi watomra aketesie nyansani ben no wa Ghana onhu se krachi watomra na wanso mo de baye MPP NDC CPP PPP ebe enti ya disua ne nyina ho amamfa so ya disua ne nyina ne yensua no kware die ya disua ne nyina ne nananom nyansan yenya bi adan ka no man ne besa yi o ne aduro no kra asai na momenya ntete efse ni papa bi ba obetumi aba sabaji oman na pesa minkum nyafo ene me ni nnuanom ndifo yi a ene wo mu tisui ne wo mu ye eye na governor of the bank so nia waye eye mo fe say na asama mi bi so for yataro mi bi sakrachi yin so se daachi wonso woni ho a say na wo be pese obi beto so aya oman yi ana mumisa mo se nia wo na okobo besia ema Ghana konko asummu a na sebiota frache wo company enye sika no Sana wo ni hwa the next minister of finance wo pepese ono nso beye ana na governor of the Bank of Ghana wo nim say quantitative easing mkromfo ye sebe esen kromfo currency na won so daachi se wo ni hwa sana won so bepese ne obeye emmere a won so wo ma page ma papa bi aye no ono nso betoa so ana na ye ho ha ye nkakra wo oman mu ha no ye adwen se wo mu a wo mu nibie no wo mu ye moasa aden meka moasem na Ghana fo buafu
The world will tell you that your priorities are misplaced as a people if your leadership places their wants before your needs. That is the situation we're in Ghana today. President Kufuor started a project at G in Kumasi. People say when you are in Accra and you are ready to die, no matter what hospital you are in, they take you to Kolebu. And if Kolebu doesn't save you, you die. Well, that's the same story in Kumasi. If there is money to be used, why is it that the NPP government that came after President Kufuor failed to continue the projects that President Kufuor had begun, whether they were housing projects, hospital projects, or school projects? And why did they refuse to continue the things that John Evans Atta Mills and President John Mahama had also begun? But you now tell me that the Bank of Ghana governor can say he has printed money and he has passed it on to a corrupt minister of finance who is only interested in his own belly and in amassing wealth for his family and friends to use under the guise of he is helping to save the country. Hey, so you consider all Ghanaians that stupid? Really? I know there are some people who cannot think beyond their party color. No, because they were not raised to think beyond their party color. What is wrong with us? Are we humans or humanoids? What is wrong with us as a people? You are elected into a position of power because you come to seek it. You beg for it from the people. And the people put their trust in you because they believe you will safeguard the interests of the nation. You will help provide our needs, not your wants. Like Sowell wrote, you people will come and project your selfish interests and your selfish desires as the public interests. Look, give this 100 years ago, and everyone in government would be facing the wrath of the people. Have you forgotten the French Revolution? Think, oh, think. Na muni nipa netio. Baby, amobo mine krono na musisi madain. Maid servants na baba hemo. Mobon kokra. Emmofra ehiafo ma na be yi modru ama mo. Mobe wu tantan tan na mo nti ase. Ede yo bra na ye bono man yi mu. Aden. You alone want to be rich. Whilst you watch so many people who are honest and hardworking living so poorly, and you are happy with this? How does it feel if you are only the one rich man in an entire neighborhood, the only one whose generator works when the lights go off in an entire neighborhood?
NFM Radio.
What's wrong with you? Are you human?
Cecilia Benadapa, well done. Well done. I thought you were a woman and a mother who had compassion. They said, give a position to a woman and she'll do far better than a man. But these days, what do we see? It's sad. It's disheartening. Year in, year out, flood affects people in Accra. The Odo River gets flooded. Lives are destroyed. Properties are destroyed. You said you used $43 million to clean the Odo River. Have you seen what $43 million could do in Dubai or in Europe or in America? Shame unto you. It's so sad. It's so disheartening. We live in this country. People cannot even afford 1 meal a day. And some people out there who have very little are trying everything possible to reach out to those who don't have any, But you, the politicians, all you think about is grabbing. You have only one child, I was told. You have only one child, and you are grabbing all these properties for only one child. How about those kids in our front plains, those kids at the north, those kids in the Volta region somewhere, those kids in remote villages in Ashanti region, in Central region, in every part of Ghana? Look, there was a kid I met in Sogakope. They are so poor that there are 3 siblings. Every morning, their meal is yesterday banku with raw pepper, no tomatoes, just pepper and salt, with no fish. The day I asked my mother to give them soup, it was like, you are bringing kids from the war zone who haven't eaten for a year. When they saw soup in a plate that day, oh, politicians are wicked in this country. You people cannot even afford to go to hospitals. I have a little charity. My colleagues from work and my friends, they help me with their little income, and we reach out to people in the remote parts of the Volta region. They have nothing, absolutely nothing to eat. You guys are just there amassing Ghana's wealth, misusing donors' funds. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? And today's Sunday, July 23rd, 2023, I believe most of you are in your churches praising God, thanking God for bringing Ghana down. Aren't you ashamed of yourselves? It's so disheartening what you people are doing to Ghana. It's so sickening what you people are doing to Ghana. I go to the villages and I see kids who do not have anything to do, who do not have anything to eat. There are people who are sick. They can't go to hospitals. Even they go to the hospitals, they give them paracetamol. This national health insurance, you buy a loaf of bread in Kuala, you pay national health insurance. Yet, donors are putting money into this national health insurance, but you guys are just looting the money, and people go to hospitals, you give them paracetamol. Why are you doing this to Ghana? Why? Why are you doing this to Ghana? Oh, don't you have heart? Don't you have compassion? Don't you have sympathy? Don't you have feelings for people? It is sad. And you guys should be ashamed of yourselves. You guys should be ashamed of yourselves.
Say dear, yenam top connect so e mani sika de bagana if we wiase afa na nyina yentia kapre ane aye free top connect amasika mani aye mrekra ye wohia ne se wo be download wo top connect app no e wo Play Store de ama wo Android phone ana se wo use iPhone so a ko Apple Store na download the top connect aye simple kra top connect wa man be bro aduonum so wo Europe, North America and Asia wo mane wo dofo sika fa top connect so a aye ntem na na mawa hoto swonso sese die sika manu di foforo kra any top connect so we yan chechemu bia free top connect e wo +442 081 6155 and a +442 081 761 600 +447 882 950 088 and nasa hwehwe top connect e wa befontinten fidie nyina so top connect for sika manu wadofo asomdie mu a wontia kapre Top Connect yenso ye die.
Sydney Discotheque, verano del 79, con la mejor música del mundo.
Oye,
NFM Radio. NFM Radio.
NFM Radio, emu daho.
Ekosi sa mesabe kyerɛkyerɛ mu sɛ sabe ɛnne yɛ mmoa ɛnso wokɔ hwie kwadugu kwan ho a ade bi aba Ghana enti ne yɛdro no yɛnim sɛ biribi ɛwɔ hɔ a sɛ yɛyɛ a ɛnha yɛn nko a ɛnha yɛadamfo bi pɛ na mmom ɛha ɔman no nyinara obi kɔ wie abankye a nyɛ da kɔhyɛ fiase ne ayɛ na yɛakakadeɛ tantantan ɛkɔm de obi ma na ɔkɔfa obi paa no a yɛbɛkye no tom na mmom so obi yɛ krakye na sɛ ɔfa pen na ɔde yɛ adeɛ a ɛto mmara a ɛbɔ ɔman a ɔyɛ krakye nti yɛyɛ krakyefoɔ no a yɛhyɛatare papa te yɛ kaa mu no yɛsɛ yɛnka yɛakye obi ne yɛbɔ no kwan ho deɛ ne yɛgyina nkyɛn ne yɛsere na sɛbe hwan na ɛma krakye yi tumi sɛ ɔno ɛtumi twa saa sika yi hwan so na ɛma ne saa tumi sɛ ɔno tumi kyerɛ sɛ sika wei mede ama nkurɔmfoɔ bi so momfa nyɛ neɛ ɔmo pɛ ɛna hwan so na ɛkyerɛ ne sɛ neɛ ɔmo kɔ yɛ no koraa no ɛbɛba mfasoɔ ama ɔman no tumi ne fi he tumi ne ɛfi he wɔnyɛ ne yie sɛ yɛpam no na ɛnyɛ yie a ɔno ankasa mfa n'anim nyam kakra a aka no ɔnka ne dua nhyɛ ne nan ntam na ɔnsi fam na sɛbe sɛ ɛnɛ owu a ɔman no ɛmmo ɔtom nkurɔfoɔ wɔ nim de yɛdɔɔso wɔ Ghana adɛn ne yɛyɛ saa adan ya yɛ ho sɛ obi ɔyɛ krakye bi a wonya baby papa gyina no ɔno yɛ bɔne a yɛnka obi ɔyɛ ketesie bi a wonya baby papa gyina no ɔno yɛ bɔne a yɛnka na ohiani bi obi anim no deɛ ɔyɛ bɔne a yɛbɛka no yayaaya sɛ yɛnyae saa deɛ no a ɔman no bɛbɔ bɔne yɛ bɔne papa yɛ papa bɔne bi wɔ ma a woyɛ a wohyɛ ɔbaa bi na wo nko a woayɛ na wode ku ho bɔne bi nso wɔ hɔ a woyɛ a wode sɛe ɔman no nyinara na no akyi no wopɛ sɛ woda ho tena wo na ɔman no ɛhyehyɛ wo sika ma wo na ɔman no ma wo kaa ɔman no ma wo fie na wo ne w'abusuafoɔ mo gye m'ani wabrɛ a wobɔ ɔman no enti krakye bɛn na ɔwɔ Ghana ɔnnim sɛ akrakye wato mmara aketesie nyansani bɛn na ɔwɔ Ghana ɔnhu sɛ krakye wato mmara na wɔn nso mo de bɛyɛ MPP NDC CPP PPP ebei enti yɛadesua no nyinaa ho ama mfasoɔ yɛadesua no nyinaa no yɛnsua no kware die yɛadesua no nyinaa no yɛnananom nyansa yɛnya bi ɛdɛn ka na ɔman no bɛsɛ yi o ne yɛduro no koraa asɛe na mmom nya ntete efisɛ nipa papa bi ba a obetumi aba saa bɛgye ɔman yi na pɛ sɛ menkum nyafoɔ ɛne me ne me nuanom ndifoɔ yi a ɛnna wɔn mu ti so yi nea wɔn mu yɛ ɛyɛ na governor of the bank nso nea wayɛ yi ɛyɛ mo fɛ sɛi na asɛm a mebisa oforiata no mebisa krakye yi nso sɛ daakye wo nso wonni hɔ a sɛi na wobɛpɛ sɛ obi bɛtoa so ayɛ ɔman yi anaa mumisa mo sɛnea wo na ɔkɔbɔ besia ɛma Ghana kɔ nkoasom mu a na sɛ biota frakyɛ wo company ɛnyɛ sika no saa na wo ni hɔ a the next
NFM
minister
Radio.
of finance wo pɛpɛ sɛ ɔno nso bɛyɛ anaa na governor of the Bank of Ghana wo nim sɛ quantitative easing nkurɔfoɔ yɛ sɛbe ɛsɛ nkurɔfoɔ currency na wo nso daakye sɛ wo ni hɔ a saa na wo nso bɛpɛ sɛ nea ɔbɛyɛ mmere a wo nso wo ma ɛpɛ adwuma papa bi ayɛ no ɔno nso bɛtoa so anaa ana na yɛ ho henha yɛn kakra wɔ ɔman yi mu ha no yɛyɛ yɛadwen sɛ wɔn mu a wɔn mu ni bie no wɔn mu yɛ mmoa saa adan meka mmoa asɛm na Ghanafoɔ bu afu ekosi sɛ mesa bɛkyerɛkyerɛ mu sɛ sɛbe ɛnne yɛ mmoa ɛnso wokɔ hwie kwadugu kwan ho a ade bi aba a ɔbɛti baako mmienu a no asɛ dwane akɔkwae mu no akɔ frɛ no yɛ wɔ hɔ nyinaa sɛ ɛne nyia sɛ ɛne tamfo sɛ ɛna damfo kwadu aba obi ankɔti bi na mmom wo nipa daseni a yɛbɛsum kwadu agu hɔ na wobɛbue kwan ma obiara bɛti bie no mmom wasi wall ɛde abɔ kwadu no ho ɛsɛ obiara ni bi wɔn kwan no abusuafoɔ bɛdi wabere akwasi ampanyi wonim sɛ kwadu no egu hɔ 4 days a ɛbɛporɔ no wo ɛne adwe hwan ne aboa menye obiara asamo America no tie ni ye, who the cap fit, let them wear it. No hieni nso a sabe ne awenya bie a ye kromfo a obo epo no wona wo beka bi mano no misuma ododo.
The world will tell you that your priorities are misplaced as a people if your leadership places their wants before your needs. That is the situation we're in Ghana today. President Kufuor started a project at G in Kumasi. People say when you are in Accra and you are ready to die, no matter what hospital you are in, they take you to Kolebu. And if Kolebu doesn't save you, you die. Well, that's the same story in Kumasi. If there is money to be used, why is it that the NPP government that came after President Kufuor failed to continue the projects that President Kufuor had begun, whether they were housing projects, hospital projects, or school projects? And why did they refuse to continue the things that John Evans Atta Mills and President John Mahama had also begun? But you now tell me that the Bank of Ghana governor can say he has printed money and he has passed it on to a corrupt minister of finance who is only interested in his own belly and in amassing wealth for his family and friends to use under the guise of he's helping to save the country. Hey, so you consider all Ghanaians that stupid? Really? I know there are some people who cannot think beyond their party color. No, because they were not raised to think beyond their party color. What is wrong with us? Are we humans or humanoids? What is wrong with us as a people? You are elected into a position of power because you come to seek it. You beg for it from the people. And the people put their trust in you because they believe you will safeguard the interests of the nation. You will help provide our needs, not your wants. Like Sowell wrote, you people will come and project your selfish interests and your selfish desires as the public interests. Look, give this 100 years ago, and everyone in government would be facing the wrath of the people. Have you forgotten the French Revolution? Think, oh, think. Namuni nipa netio. Baby, amobo mine krono na musisi madain. Maid servants na baba hemo. Mobo nkokra. Emmofra ehiafo ma na ebeyi modru ama mo. Mobe wu tantan tan na mo nti ase. Ede yo bra ne ye bono man yi mu. Aden. You alone want to be rich. Whilst you watch so many people who are honest and hardworking living so poorly, and you are happy with this? How does it feel if you are only the one rich man in an entire neighborhood, the only one whose generator works when the lights go off in an entire neighborhood? Don't you feel ashamed? What's wrong with you? Are you human?
I say, Mon sorry, oh, ja, yeah, oh, yeah, whoa, yeah, the fire burn them. What's it? Yeah, we're gonna end this for people on barbecue. Barbecue. Thank you. Right, another beautiful Friday evening here in London. The program is Fire with Benny with Mansa. I'm ready to rock and roll. am ready indeed. So you see what is happening in Ghana, in West Africa. That president from Africa was the Ouattara, talking tough. Hey, Joe. Tinubu said, no, we have to uphold democracy because democracy will bring freedom and development. The moment you see the African man trying to talk or use the if the African man is using the colonial talk or the oppressor's language, there you know the game is up. That the democracy will give Africans freedom and prosperity or development. The other time I wrote some long time ago, and I've been saying it a lot. Nigeria started, drilling for oil or producing oil. Nigeria had oil long before, Ghana had Ghana had the oil refinery. We didn't have oil. Nigeria had oil, but the refinery is done in West, far away Europe. And you see, I've been saying since Nigeria started drilling the oil, so it will only factor in that after maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 years, after several years when Ghana also discovers or happens to have enough oil, that is commercial quantities, so now Ghana also have oil. Under normal circumstance, you see, if it was in the Americas or let's say Europe or elsewhere, you see that, for instance, if it's North America and it is just recently that Canada has discovered oil, you see the engineers and the experts and the money men, they will come from America to set up, right? So I've been arguing that since Nigeria started long before Ghana, you see, like when Ghana had its oil, it should have been that the experts and the money men, engineers, and the people with the know-how will come from Nigeria to come and set up. So even if it is 60-40 of the profit going to African engineers, African entrepreneurs, African businesses, African billionaires, and the 40 comes to Ghana, at least we say, the money is African money. But Nigeria has drilled the oil and drilled the oil and drilled the oil and drilled the oil. And yet, when it came to Ghana's turn to, manufacture oil, the experts are still from Europe. The Nigerians, they don't have a look in. Or what the Nigerians, the black people, or what they are interested in is their small kickbacks. Maybe some senator in Nigeria, they will give him 1 million a year to keep quiet, to look away while the what do we call it? To look away while the foreigners take the biggest share, the lion's share, carry it away. You see, then they will give another senator maybe $500,000 a year, and they are happy with that. You see, so when people like Tinubu, I've forgotten the name. When people like this, they are wearing their African dress, big ones. They are sitting in air conditioner hall, and they are talking big talk. They are talking the language of the oppressors. We will not accept military coup. We have to reinstate a democratically elected president. You see, all this, like I say, is good talk. It's good language. That when there have been an election, democratic, we should allow it to sustain, to endure. But then, thinking about it, what has happened in Niger? Who can say that, this military coup has actually killed so many people, molesting people, whipping people, that sort of thing? No. This military takeover if we can call it that, is the mildest of insult that you can get anyway. It is the mildest of its sort. Even the deposed head of state now apparently is in the, house arrest, still eating whatever food they eat there. You understand? So, for Tinubu and Akufo-Addo to even contemplate, but then I don't blame them. You know why? Because what they are saying, what they are wishing for, their will is actually not their own minds. It is not something they actually believe in. It is all about the powers that be, especially the ones from the White House. They dictate to everybody. They talk as if what they do is the best that everyone should follow. I won't talk about gun crimes. That's another topic for another day. But for all you know, some people underneath have promised African leaders, oh, don't worry, for the armament and the arms and the bombs and the bullets, we will supply them. And Africa heads of states, most of them who have their children studying abroad, who have all their proper houses and hospitals and schools abroad, they will sign up to this nonsense and agree for France and America to bring them bullets to go and shoot other Africans. We are in a conundrum. We black Africans, West Africans, we are in a conundrum. We are in a perplexing situation. Because if you say, the democracy is not good, this democracy is not helping us, and the rest, someone will say, hey, even the West democracy is better, far better than a coup d'etat or a military government. They might be true from either side. All sides can be right. But what is right in my view is what will benefit the local African who for a long time we have remained second or third or fifth class. We have remained subservient. We have somehow been schooled. Yes. Those of you, I think Kwesi is on the Zoom. No problem at all. I know you are there. I will make sure, I'll make sure I will bring your microphone up and you can also speak. I need to finish this monologue quickly. But ask the rest of the people to join. Anyone can join today. I think your comrade Conrad also gave a signal that he is coming. You see, for a long time, the African person have accepted the status, the mediocre status, the second best, the third best. What is given to us should be enough. And even what is given to us will be divided and taken and subtracted, and the lion's share will go to our leaders who don't keep their monies even in Africa. I'm telling you, we are in a dilemma. We are in a crisscross. We can decide to, play the ostriches and put our heads in the sand and say we have embraced democracy, kitchen, soup, tank, and sink, as they say. We can say that is how we have to go. But until we can get the proper leadership, who can sit in front of whoever they are negotiating with? For instance, Mansa Musa is the head of state negotiating for a new oil drilling platform or a new gold or platinum, whatever is being mined. The first person or the first or the last question our president will have to ask these people that, look, how long First, how will this deal, this arrangement, do you think will benefit my people? And how long, when will they feel or start feeling the benefits? I want to know. So if, for instance, after drilling whatever you are drilling, after taking whatever you are taking from the ground, after taking away, subtracting your cost, we will get about, let's say, $1 billion. If you say mine will be 200 million, then you tell me, when do you think that particular arrangement will benefit my people? But our leaders don't think that way. Our leaders will just sign the dots, sign the paper, and they will have some other incentives, like all my children or my wife's family will study in your universities. My hospital appointment in UK or France, they say you gotta pay for it. You know, they will get all the inducement, the inducement and whatever, and allow whatever the foreign entity is to carry away massive amount of the wealth to far away to their countries. Now, right. So, Mr. Okay, yeah, all right. So, as I say, I'm always saying that, look, when I'm here, I'm speaking my monologue. It doesn't mean anybody who comes should come and speak my language, you know? And when I say so, I don't mean English is my language. It's just that that's what I've started with. And, you know, if you want to join, come and join and speak whatever language you want to speak. The lines are opened and the microphone is open. So if you come in and say hello, I will say hello to you, and we can speak or we can talk. So whoever is in the background, I think it's Kwesi. Kwesi, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Master Musa.
We have a call there.
Yeah, Boko Master Musa. Eja, Nana Kufaduni, I'm a boy there. He hit the cry into me that because we are all thinking about how best we can through Master Musa.
I don't understand you. Why you cannot sleep? Sleep. What's your problem?
No, Master Musa, you see, like I told you, I mean, yeah, Boko, but before then, I would like to say hello to your viewers and the listeners. Like you all know, Master Musa, these days, all of us are stressed up with this MPP bad governance. Seriously. Yakasa, Yabre.
Hey.
And even what is shocking, Master Musa, is that all the MPP guys, they are all quiet. It's so shocking. MPP people, they can talk, but for now, they can't even chastise their president and all what is going on, Master Musa. It's very bad. It's time we Ghanaians, especially. I read your article you sent to us. You were really hammering on us that we, the chapter, have disappointed and we have failed our party and all that. It's good, at least. You are really taking us to the cleaners. I mean, it will allow us to sit up and see what we can do. Say, able to me, I need that geomanismo. And you bring, you ever contribute to the issue of development of this nation called Ghana. This is the Morocco, Ghana, and then I could find the Morocco, Mansa Musa. It's very bad. So you can see that Ghana now, there are 4 people. Let's even forget about New Patriotic Party. That party, I don't know whether even they still exist, apart from being a governor. Only 4 people. 4 people has brought us to this stage, Mansa Musa. Do you know those 4 people?
No.
So you want me to tell you?
No, yes and no. Okay, tell me, who has brought Ghana to the knees?
Well, Mr. Musa, it's only 4 people in New Patriotic Party. They have brought us to this level. And I'm shocked that we are quiet. Everybody in the see was said, me tea a gentleman of Kasa Sisian was say, I think that chief, what is his name? Oh, you know, you see, Canaan Coffee, where you know, what I call share estate development.
Are you talking about Kwesi Chedakwa?
Kwesi Chedakwa, I listened to him and it's so emotional. I got emotional. You know, I was emotional when I was listening to him, Musa. Only 4 people, New Patriotic Party, they came and begged that, oh, Nana Kufado so Musa. Say, so Musa. Look at what is happening, Musa. Billions of Ghana cedis. Billions. It's gone and roll. And we don't know. Sikano Oshishan Kofu one day. They're all hiding the money in their rooms. They know very well that, you see, Musa, if you take a huge sums of money and you send it to your room, it's difficult. You can't bring it out. So all what you have to do is that you have to hide it somewhere. You hide it in the polytanks or your home. This is what is happening. Musa, this is what is happening. This is our Ghana president, Nakufado, Vice President Baumia, Finance Minister of Oriata, and the Bank of Ghana governor. These 4 people, they are in charge of our purse, Musa. These 4. And here you're throwing the Musa. It's so pathetic. Let me use my word. It's a shame, Musa. It's a shame. So we want to see what is up. Musa, you sent a text, you know, querying the NDC UK and Ireland. Why did you write such a text, if I may ask, please?
Well, I'm not obliged to ask why, but the reason is obvious in Ikwesi. The reason is obvious that at this time, Ghana NDC, all what they are getting from Europe or America, okay, let's say from UK, is massive support. Whether it's the talking, whether it's the money, whether it's the physical support, everything. Instead, they are carrying the heavy loads in Accra. Then they have to think of how best they have to come and support to augment democracy in the UK. Asemiwala onyawa wereho.
No, you see, the way I actually was scripting, when you end, then you end at, after all, you are going to meet in case to do barbecue and talk to the mamas and be happy. I mean, you are just making a laugh.
You should understand my satiric way of writing. I write satire. It's like Sasana Mopa Ijina join it. Now ya di Rusi. Say Rusi na Mopa de Mudi. As someone buy over can ye no muke de Rusi. I mean then I can only advise if you won't take it, I'll come and join you to be jumping about and enjoying yourself.
Well noted. Musa, well noted. You see, well noted. You see, the other day I think I was on the TV program and this same question was put before me that, so what is the way forward now? And we told you guys that, look, we are waiting, though it's so unfortunate that we are where we are now, because the report now, what the question, we are all waiting for the report. We are all waiting for the decision of Accra, at least to come and tell us that, look, this is the date. But let me tell you this, I think we are all tired about waiting. You see, whatever is the situation now, this election should come on. Simplicity. If me, I win the election, or Conrad win the election, then we can see what we can do in terms of any other thing. But, Musa, some of us are also speaking to Accra behind the scene. Now, we beg them.
I don't understand. Hang on. When either you win or Conrad, what about me, Mansa Musa? I'm not included, and the rest of them. What about the rest?
Musa, am I obliged to speak on that?
Hey, but there are 4 people, including myself, Musa. Me, I'm also interested.
Musa, let me explain. Musa, technically,
hang on a second.
I have access. Listen,
Conrad.
Musa.
Hello, Conrad. You can join in with your microphone and also badge in.
Musa,
I mean,
Musa,
tonight is just discussion. I mean, it's conversational, Conrad. So it's not about one person taking this. We are.
Let me say this. Is Conrad on it? Conrad in.
I've seen a signal there. So
no, but he hasn't joined there. Let me finish my statement.
Yeah.
Musa,
Conrad, unmute your microphone and you can join. Conrad has joined. Then what's the other one?
That's me.
Yeah, I can see another one. Kwesi, 1 second, remember. I'll let
Okay.
you. There is
So,
somebody.
Chama Conrad, allow me to finish with Mansa Musa before coming in. Now that you've come, you came in.
All right.
I'll be soft with
All
him.
right, Kwesi. I said, hang on. The man just came. Don't be afraid.
Okay.
All right, Kwesi. So what's up, Missy? Why do you say that either I win or Conrad wins? What about me? Huh? Like
No, but Musa, you are not in the race. Are you in the race, Musa?
What about my favorite Mbamba?
No, listen. They mean the outgoing chairman.
Well, well, he's also in the race.
Musa, you see, listen. Let me do something here.
Go on.
Some of us have done the dynamics of this election, and we know how it's going to go. Because listen, our members want to change. We want to reform this chapter. At least the other day I came to your program and I told you that listen, this chapter here, if you look at all the leadership since it was inaugurated by Tony Edu somewhere in 1983, all the leadership have served one term, even those who have performed well. So, however, let me say this: that look, we want to reform this chapter so that look, this issue of inclusiveness, the issue of making sure that look, we bring NDC back, the vibrancy that we want in the chapter, we bring it back. Musa, it used to be a time, when you go to meetings in Tottenham, if NDC is having their meeting and you are in there, you feel it. You feel the vibrancy, Musa. It's no more there. So there is a need for us to sit back and say, look, irrespective of our ambition or what we want to do, unity for the party first, because 2024, Mansa Musa, is not going to be a joke. And you see, now we are seeing what this government has done in terms of the amount of money they have siphoned from the system. This money is in their rooms. You see, apart from this colossal sum of money, we haven't even talked about the Galamsey money yet too. So you can see the quantum of the money, the resources as NDC political party we are going to deal with this new patriotic party people. We have sat back for only 4 people in new patriotic party has brought us to this stage. Musa, I said this some time ago that look, when the Bank of Ghana began to push a lot of cities into the system, when they changed their denomination to 100 and 200, I said, these guys, we are in for trouble. Here we are. They cut the money. They share the money among themselves. At a point in time, there was a video that went viral. A gentleman was sitting on the cash. Then we couldn't even find where the money is. Eventually, we said the gentleman was killed. And these new patriotic party people has kept the money in their homes. Some is what we saw at this Cecilia Gate money. If Cecilia Depa, she is even they say more, somebody will say, or a baller minister, just a baller minister. And look at the 4 accounts, that's a colossal amount of money they found in. It's so bad, Mansa Musa. It's so bad.
Conrad, what do you have to say about where we've gotten so far, or where we are so far? We are discussing tonight the daylight thievery, as I have put it, with the impunity that is happening in Ghana, and vis-a-vis that is our democracy. It's making people think that democracy isn't working for us, because democracy should be able to check and balance all these issues. But in our lands, in West Africa and elsewhere in Africa, it's all about incumbent or incumbency, handling everything, doing whatever they want. The only thing they have to guarantee the Western supporters is that every 4-year or 5-year cycle, they have to go and do elections. And how to win the election, they will have do everything just to win. That is the only thing they have to do in terms of democracy. What do you say to all what is going? Because before we talk about solutions and the rest, and also the fact that you guys here in the UK, instead of by now supporting your people in Accra, big material and moral, physical and financial and even verbal support. Now Accra is thinking how best to manage you guys. That is also a question mark there. So all, it's all together as a package. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Mansa Musa. And a very good evening to our cherished listeners and to my elder brother, Chairman Akwa. It's always a pleasure to share a platform with him. The questions you have asked, Mansa Musa, I'm not sure, I'll probably start with the middle one, the democracy one, and work backwards. Probably what I'll say may not be what everybody wants to hear. Some may want to, some may not. Democracy in itself, I mean, people define it differently. But if you go by the famous one of government for the people, of the people, by the people, one thing that definition doesn't do is tell you the speed or when democracy's yield will be obtained. In my view, and there is nothing, I've not read this anywhere, it's just the simple musings of a village boy. Democracy is not a quick business. And if I would liken it to, I like barbecues. I like chinchinga. And any seasoned barbecue, any person who does barbecue will know this. Democracy is the slow cooking, the slow burn. Whereas military rule, autocracy, and many others is basically the rushed barbecue. When you're barbecuing chicken, it needs slow fire to get into it. If you rush it and you cook it at high heat, you'll get the outside burning and the inside won't cook. And if you eat that, you are most likely, especially drumsticks, where the joints, there'll still be blood in it. So that's a little thing there for barbecue connoisseurs. Democracy is similar. You put too much fire on it, you burn the meat and the inside won't cook. You don't put too much fire, it will not cook. It needs a slow burn. And that's why you would find that democracies that are established today, at the inception of those democracies, it was messy. If you look at some of the terminologies in corruption, in bad governance, things like pork barrel politics, and those kind of stuff, they kind of basically emanated from the US, 18th century, 19th century democracy in US, where particularly the term pork barrel politics was. It was basically back in the day where sheriffs and eldermans or whatever rules there were in the US could basically go out and hand out parcels of pork to those who will vote for them to vote for them. Now, I'm not saying this to excuse the current situation we are in Ghana or in Africa, but when democracy is taken off, you will see the terrible, the good, the bad, the ugly. People will make mistakes, especially in any group, when you bring in the principle of the tragedy of the commons, where everybody wants for himself and nobody looks for the greater good. You will have these kind of dirty stuff. Corruption will rise at the inception of democracy, and this is me positing this. But in the end, if you stick with it, two things would happen. You will get to the tipping point when people will realize that, look, these politicians come to us, give us money, we vote, and they go back and take that same money 10 times. They will realize that there are good governments and there are bad governments. If I vote for you because you are my brother, I vote for you because we are from the same church, we play the same golf at Achimota Golf Club, not St. John's Achimota Plots, or anywhere else. When you get in there, you will not deliver to me. You will expect me to understand because I'm your brother, because I'm your church mate, because I'm your this and that. But when you vote based on the person's ideas and merit, and they get in, they'll be inclined to deliver based on the mandate you gave them, based on the promises you gave them. And if they fail, you vote them out. And when you keep voting them in and voting them out, you get to a certain, and it's not utopia, you get to a certain position that most countries that have practiced democracy for so long have got to, where the politicians realize that my continuous survival in power will be dependent on me delivering on the promises I make. If I fail to, the people use the ballot box against me. Now, you will have those who realize that this will go against them ballot box-wise, trying to subvert the process. like the case of Nigeria, where we all know that election was a charade. Like the case of Alpha Conde in Guinea, where he changed terms and forced himself on the people and ended up with a coup on his hands. Like the case of Burkina Faso or Mali, or indeed the case of even Cote d'Ivoire, that you have had Alassane Ouattara change the terms, or indeed in Senegal, as you'd see. The Senegalese people have learned the power of exercising your civic rights. Just voting alone and waiting for every 4 years will not solve the problem. You see, when President Macky Sall decided that he wanted to change terms like Ouattara did, they hit the streets fearlessly for country. And he ended up changing tact and turning around, tucking tail and running. So democracy will come with people realizing that it's not just voting every 4 years. But in the course of the 4 years, civil agitation, we're not asking for coup d'etats, hitting the streets when what should be done is not what is being done. You keep the government on your toes. Doing what the Senegalese did and putting country first. These are the things that help build any democracy. Unfortunately, coups do not build a democracy. What coups do is they stop, they start. When you stop and you start again, you lose the momentum. For example, Ghana will practice democracy since 92. We're in our 30 years plus now, if my adding is correct. This is 2023. So we are roughly 32 plus 30 years roughly. If we go into a military rule now, we risk losing all the democratic gains we have had, no matter how elusive they may look like. And that's why we don't pray for a coup. What we pray for is that the people of Ghana are all suffering. You can see how false prophets and crazy bald heads have lied their way into power and are enriching themselves, their best and their closest with millions of dollars. Now it's time for them to speak the truth if they can so master the balls too. The reason where we are in Ghana, and we'll come to it, is because people have suddenly zipped their mouths. That is not what builds democracy. And then you then have the MPP being bold enough to even demand what you call a democratic coup called break the eight. In other words, at all costs, whatever we do will break the eight. Ghanaians must stand firm and hold the line and make sure that this waste of a government is thrown out. We are barely a year and a bit away from it. A year and 6 months, 5 months from now, in fact, a year and 3 months from now, we will be going to the polls. We should use the power of the thumb to throw the MPP out, keep the NDC in, hold the NDC's feet to the fire and make sure the NDC delivers. And if the NDC stops delivering, just like the MPP are doing, throw them out and change. If you use the ballot box to keep changing and you use the power of your civic rights to enforce good governance, democracy will be good for all of us. And the democracy we see in the Western world is what we will get. Unfortunately, I think that with all new things, we haven't got around to it yet. Partly because we have got elements of tribalism, elements of schoolboyism, elements of churchism, elements of religiosity, elements of all the bad partisan type things that we like to patronize. We need to come out of our individual groups and look for the greater good.
I want to ask a question where you've just got to, where you've reached. And that is, it's all well and good to say, after 30 years plus, if there was a coup or people uprising and the rest, then democratic gains will be somewhat derailed or lost.
Yeah.
Am I right in thinking that when you say the democratic gains, is it about the ability or the possibility of people going to vote that is so cherished, that has to be kept? Or are you saying that there has been, as Tinubu will put it, democracy will bring freedom and it will bring development? Given that all this democracy, all these years we have been practicing, surely I don't see how the freedoms has actually emanated, or freedoms are much better than even, let's say, during the Champon time. Maybe because he said we should do union government and people didn't agree. And if you oppose, you are afraid that you'll be beaten. In most African countries where democracy is being practiced today, there is no development and there's no freedom. If the youth should hit the street, they will be attacked, they will be killed, they will be shot. So what choice, my question is, what choice has anyone in West Africa got to change a government that is bent on staying in power? Even when their mandate is finished, they will bring their group for, to make sure that the continuation actually continues. What choice have people got? Or we have to wait for another 100 or 200 years for the democracy to mature? Take it away.
Thank you very much, Mr. Musa, for that question. And it also vexes a couple of questions. But you see, there's one thing that former President Rawlings, one of the titans of our democracy, said that I always agree with 100%. You see, he said perpetual vigilance, right, is something that we need to enforce if our democracy must stay. And so look at it from this angle. Our military should be protecting our democracy. When the military is protecting a democracy, there are things that they don't do. They do not invade the chamber of parliament. And any military man who invades the chamber of parliament should be court-martialed by the military. Because military governments or coup d'etats are neither good for the civilians nor the military. Because in the end, everybody tends to lose out. What we should be looking for is a military that says we respect the ballot box. If any military is being used to rig a vote, they should not allow that to happen. They should be as professional as the soldiers that we expect them to be. If a government loses power and wants to use the military to stay in, the military should send a clear signal. And this has to do with military men that are professional, not the kind of military men that become politicized, where NDC comes to appoint their own military, MPP comes to appoint their own military, and people who have been through military school and military training academies forget the ethos of professionals. When we have the military doing their part to protect the democracy, and we, the civilians, for example, when civilians go out to demonstrate, the military should protect them, the police should protect them. Because if they demonstrate against bad governance, with good governance comes development and improvement in the living standards. That improvement in living standards will be inured to the benefit of the military, the police, and everybody. And so everybody must play their part. The military must not necessarily take over, but must keep the government on their toes. We won't interfere. We won't be allowed to use to shoot people during elections and that kind of stuff. The police must serve the people, and they must protect demonstrators, allow people to demonstrate. I'm still waiting for the day policemen will be professional enough to avoid taking instructions from politicians who order them to do this, that, and that. Of course, even in this country, the Met, the head of the Met, and the various police federations, they are appointed by politicians, but then they become professional. We need to get that. And then the civilians, we then have to be fearless enough to hit the streets and demonstrate. I mean, I remember the days as a vandal in Commonwealth for school authority could take decisions. There was, sometime in my second year or so, we marched all the way from Vandal City all the way to the Ministry of Education. Then the late Kojo Bauridu was in charge. We marched there to present our petitions. We were met with tear gas and all kinds of stuff from Okonglu. We still marched fearlessly all the way down to Accra Central, down to the Ministry of Education. In the end, we blockaded and sat there until our grievances were heard, and we were given buses that took us back to campus, and that was the end of the problems we faced. What I'm saying is that what we need is civil disobedience when our governments refuse. Like this kind of thing happening. We would have expected all the civil societies to be hitting the streets, asking for accountability. If that had happened, government itself will be moderated, appointees will be moderated. But the reality of the case is that we saw a lot of civil action under President Mahama and the NDC. That kept the NDC on its toes. It kept it delivering. We haven't seen 1% of that.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the Occupy Ghana, you see, and it has to be civic. It doesn't have to be partisan. I don't go on demonstration because the NPP is in power. No. I should be able to do it when my own party is in power, if what is happening doesn't inure to the benefit of Ghanaians, not just to myself. So when we play our part, the police play their part, the military play their part, then the government will be better off. Bear in mind that politicians are a microcosm of society. And I will not make any excuses for any politicians. But if my brother is there and I say, it's okay, let's leave him there, he's my brother. But when you are there, I say, let's demonstrate against Mansa Musa because he's not my brother. Then that is where I am not asking for democracy. And so whilst Ghanaians now are asking for military, any Ghanaian now asking for a coup, what you should do is do the civilian coup. Mobilize and hit the streets. If we want Cecilia Dapa jailed, she must be jailed. If we want various bad things that have happened, Bank of Ghana has released a rotten report, losing more than double what we are going to IMF for. We should have been hitting the street to say, Addison must
Thank
go.
you very much for saying this. Now, let me go back to Kwesi and ask him, given what you have just said, why is NDC, even five people here in the UK, holding their placards with the police permission, just walking from one end to the other quietly for 1 hour, showing the placards in English as to why you are there and why explaining what is happening, especially with our finances. The problem, the issue, the reasons why youth are running away from Africa is because leadership is mismanaging, misruling everything, causing so much havoc, so much hardship. Why are you guys not doing that demonstration, Kwesi? Why do you think you guys are not doing it?
Okay. Thank you so much, Master Musa, for the question. Yes, ever since this issue of why are we not demonstrating, I think you fired this question long ago, but some of us are talking behind the scene. And look at how best we can manage the demonstration if we agree to go on the demonstration. The other day I told you the other time that, look, when you want to do demonstration, there are two-tier type of demonstration. Either we as a political party, we demonstrate, or we demonstrate with the entire nation because of the situation we find ourselves. So that is where it is. But as a political party, let me assure you, some of us, the leadership, are talking behind the scene. When there's a need for us to hit the road, when we have exhausted all the communication or the discussion behind the scene, Musa, it will happen. But let me add one or two to what my brother has just elaborated to you on air this evening. Musa, you see, politics, democracy, sometimes you want to find out where it originates from. Musa, the word democracy, when you look at it carefully, you can say it's a Greek word. And it tells you that the demos represent the people. And when you come to the word kratos, is the rule. So in the olden days, when people want to rule, that is how the issue of democracy was coined and came about. You see, but there's something which we are losing sight of. The issue of the democracy itself, Mansa Musa. Within the system, every democracy should strive based on the quality institution that you have in place. And when you want to make sure that the democracy succeed in every country, police should play a key role in the democracy. If you have a democracy where you have an independent police, that he is not tied his string to any government or any group of people, and the police can arrest whoever breaks the law, being it police, being it politician, also democracy strike. Now, my question I want to put before you is that I want to zoom some of this representation to Ghana, specific. In Ghana today, do we have an independent police to man our democratic tendency that we are practicing in Ghana, Musa? It's no. So that is the difficulty that we are facing now. You see, the issue of the past issue that came up, that you found at least $1 million in his room. If it should have happened in this country, this woman will be arrested, take through the proper investigation, and put before the law courts for prosecution. This is not what we are seeing in Ghana. So some of the things we have to do as politicians, me question involved is that we need to advocate for independent police, Mansa Musa. When we find a group and we push forward and say, look, Ghana, from today on, now on, we need independent police in Ghana. Because when we do that tangent or we get it right, the businessmen will trust the system of democracy we are practicing. Those outside who want to invest their money in the country, when they get to know that, look, we have an independent police, Musa, as we speak now, our 1992 constitution, if you look at the area of the police services and look at who constitute the police services, we have a huge problem. So we need to find a way to make sure that whatever it will take, whether it is this government or JDM government, we find a system through the legislature through parliament to lobby and make sure that we review the chapter 15 of the police services. As we speak, the police services comprises of the vice president, the minister responsible for interior, the attorney general. Even if I mention just 3 officers who are part of the police council, Musa, then you see where we are going. In Ghana today, the law courts, the trust is not there. So even now, NDC as a political party, you see, we don't trust the system, the judiciary system that we have in place. Musa, we don't trust it. So that is where our democracy is heading to. These are the things, Musa, before I land in comment, these are the things that invite the military, which we don't want.
NFM
because
Radio.
if you have a government which you think that, look, I've captured the system, I don't care what people say. The president will continue to do what he wants to do because he doesn't care. He knows that if one is the problem, he can find his way. That is the problem we have with Mansa Musa. So we want to plead with people like yourself, a radio presenter, the key journalists like Kevin Taylor and others who are ready to fight for the common cause for the nation. Let's do it and do it together. So that tomorrow, whoever is in power, Mansa Musa, will get to know that, look, Ghanaians want proper democratic institution to work for everybody. That involves what we provide for the citizenry in terms of what they need: food, shelter, water, good environment. Inflation can be controlled. The system of democracy in the country should be well managed, like how we are enjoying in the United Kingdom, Musa. So we want to plead with our politicians. Musa, if you go into the system and look at the resources of the continent of Africa, we have everything in the continent. However, our leaders are really failing us. They are all fair. I listened to one Uganda president.
Let's not veer into everything all at once. Let's stay where we are with the Ghana situation. Then later we'll discuss about Africa politics, geopolitics, everything.
Okay, that's fine.
That place is a long.
So the police
yeah,
in Ghana
I was coming back to ask you, Conrad, that as for the demonstrations, I think you share the same ideas or ideals with your comrade. So let's pack that one and move on.
So I wanted to add one small thing on that particular front.
Small thing, then we'll move on.
On the demonstration front, there are 2 things. I think first and foremost, what my elder brother has said is correct. But the other important thing is that, I mean, my elder brother, just like myself here, we are respecters of due process and whatever rules are handed down. And you, as you be aware, there is an injunction from Accra on any branch level activities or party activities. I know you'll ask me, so why are barbecues being held? In my view, those are not core political activities. So we see that branches are not even meeting. You know, and as you know, no branch should and can be organizing a demonstration except that it is led by the UK level, which is the chapter. And with the kind of, if you like, the position we are in now, and the advice from Accra that we should freeze all political activities, we cannot use the vehicle of the NDC, so to speak, to organize any such. But we very much share in that, and we should have been hitting the streets. But that being said, it takes me back to the point that I made in Ghana. In Ghana, it shouldn't be the NDC or the CPP or the PNC that should be organizing demonstrations. It won't be taken very far. It should be a civic society-led one, such that all parties, people of all parties and none, should participate. Recently, Dr. Ren, Marie Buidu, and a few others organized an anti-Galamsey demonstration in London to the High Commission to present a petition. I took a day off and I found time to travel to go and be part of it. I must be honest and say it was woefully attended, given the number of Ghanaians we have. If it was an NDC demonstration, all NDC people would turn up. If it was an NPP demonstration, all NPP people would turn up. When it is a civic, non-partisan demonstration for the betterment of Mother Ghana, everybody sits on their hand. And that is the problem of Ghana and the problem of our democracy, or the problem of democracy in Africa. Democracy will not thrive because political parties will push it. Because each political party will try to carry advantage When they are in opposition, they want everybody to come with them to demonstrate. When they are in government, they want nobody to demonstrate and give them a bad name. It is you and I, as civic citizens, and I speak here not as a party member, but as a Ghanaian, we must be able to say, Galamsey is no good. It should have been a 1,000-man march. Or we are seeing corruption in Ghana. The Bank of Ghana is collapsing. The past bed is bulging. Her closet is overflowing with our cash. We are hitting demonstration, non-partisan, civic. That way, the authorities take us serious. So I'm looking forward to the likes of yourself who are not politically tainted, unlike us, to organize something like that, and we'll all rally. And it has to be sustained. If an NDC organizer say, trust me, the MPP will turn up, even though a majority of them agree with it. But if they turn up, they'll get backlash from their side. But if it says an all-Ghanaian demonstration, then everybody comes in. I'm not coming as a Ghanaian NDC, but I'm coming as a Ghanaian. So that is the point. But it's not that we are refusing to and we're doing barbecues, but there are particular instructions that we should
obviously, I think you made a point there, but that is rather bringing more, how do I say it, responses from my end. And that is, we are talking of demonstration, you know, it will be very difficult to get the volume, the enthusiasm, that kind of demonstration that happens in France, in the streets of Marseille and Paris. You won't get it, not in Ghana, not in UK here. What I'm talking about is, even if it is NDC-led, and 5 or 7 or 4 people walking silently with placard in front of the embassy for the what we call the world's media, the world's press to catch those placards, very hard-hitting placards. That is demonstration. And there's nothing wrong with. That's why I started that my small, miserable piece I wrote. Without, I didn't bother to even construct it well. I just wrote it. Look, I maintain that, look, even if it is the NDC doing it, if you read it, I observed that during the Mahama Atamin's administration, the MPP did not lose any opportunity at all. Even certain things that were not exactly how it was, they twisted it to demonstrate to their advantage. I don't have to teach you guys that you got to take the advantage. I don't have to say it on air.
No,
so
absolutely.
That is the frustration coming from me, that you guys are thinking that, it should be a very big stuff and it should be a big organization or something. Well, if you can get 100, 200, 300, fine. But if you can get 5 people to go and raise placards, it's also very good indeed. That's what I'm saying.
No, we have done it before and we can do it. But like I explained, at this stage, I mean, nobody in the chapter wants to engage in anything like that because there's particularly, if you like, there's a diktat from Accra saying we stay off
for that one, yeah. If that is the reason, of course.
So that is the main reason why these things are not happening. But I'm sure at the right time, you will hear from us on the streets. And look, back to the point. My brother has, and I'll make it very sharpish on the democracy point. In fact, democracy started in Africa. The likes of Solon and those guys, the Athenians, who crafted it in their way, they learned in Egypt in the 5th century BC.
Yes.
And by that time, a form of democracy had erupted or was in practice in Egypt and had spread all the way downwards, knowing very well that a lot of civilizations in sub-Saharan Africa migrated from the River Nile area, from part of Egypt downwards. I mean, places like down in the Congo forest, the Kingdom of Congo at the time, they elected every village chief, every governor, every single one of them was elected. And there was a right of recall. And so democracy is intrinsic in Africa. It is just that we have lost it. We had chiefs. They were elected. I mean, you look at the Kurakumfuga, the charter that Sundiata Keita, I'm sure you know this, Mansa Musa. When Sundiata Keita and his people, the Empire of Mali, they crafted their own charter. That was democratic and arguably is built to be one of the first charter of human rights in Africa. So the principles of democracy, in fact, if you go to our village level, how are our chiefs elected? There's a council. When the chieftaincy is available, nobody just takes power and says, I'm the strongest, I will be. There are kingmakers. They will be consulted. They will all go and vote. You have to win the majority of the kingmakers. So a form of democracy has always been in Africa. So we should never make it look like democracy is alien to us. What we need to do is Sankofa. We need to rediscover that it is innately part of us. I know the nation state that we have now, the problem we have is that it is not organic of the African nature. We had a coupling together of different ethnic groups, boundaries, and then artificial countries being created all of a sudden. So you have houses in Niger, houses in Nigeria, houses across West Africa. If you look at the Hausa kingdom at the time, it was a united polity. Or any Ashanti kingdom is a classic example, or the Wala kingdom, the Gonja kingdom, the Mampugo kingdom, the Dagomba kingdom, the Gan state. These were, if you like, autonomous and mainly or homogeneous, and there was a structure. And if you study each of these, you will find that ingrained in each was a certain structure of democracy. It was rare for somebody to take power by force. And you would find that people like Ngabokoli and the like who ruled against their people were deemed as dictators and valid and rightfully maligned as such. There's a history, if you study the Ashanti Kingdom's history, a history of kings that were dethroned. You take the Ampabwa off. It was all part of the democracy. So what I want to say is that, look, democracy is a patient business. Of course, when you are hungry and poor governance is destroying your family, you don't have that if you like, leisure or luxury of saying, we'll wait. But truly, democracy will not even be entrenched in Ghana or Africa in our lifetimes, not in our generation, probably not in our children's generation. We are looking at another 3 or 4 generations before it will settle and the true dividends will come. Thank you.
That's a long way to go anyway, but we have to just accept what is possible. Coming to specifics, someone just wrote to me that, look, the first thing NDC government should do when they come to power is to change the CD domination, redominate the CD. How viable is that? How possible? And do you think the costs can be, how do I say, the benefits will be will equal or surpass the cost? What do you think about that method? Because he's saying that these people have amassed so much, like, so to speak, stolen money, printed money, and it's under their beds.
Musa, let me add 1 or 2 on this before
on which one?
Brother. I want to talk about the city.
Okay.
But I want to talk about the city. But however, let me say this concerning the democracy, just a brief one. The demonstration, just a brief one. Some of us, at least I'm here to maybe speak to 1 or 2 colleagues. There's something we need to do, because if you want to look at the demonstration on itself, it has a timeline. So we need to look at the best time to do the demonstration. So the issue of the demonstration, I think me and my brother, after this discussion, we may have to talk behind the scene and see how best we can pull our, weight.
For me, I think the weather is good. That is one. And 2, whilst the issues are fresh and current.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm telling that. If you want to do a demonstration, you need to have a timeline based on the situation. You don't have to wait for the matter to go cold before you think of doing demonstration. It doesn't make sense. So you have a point. You keep hammering on that aspect. So well noted. We take note of that, Mansa.
That doesn't mean I don't like barbecue.
No, but I will even tell my brother.
As Conrad will point it out to me.
I will tell my other comrade that they shouldn't allow you in Milton Keynes for the barbecue because you have a bad intention.
I will change my name. I will change my name and appearance.
He's coming there with bad intention. Conrad, don't accept it. Mansa Musa, listen carefully. Mansa Musa, you see what is going on in Ghana with this government. Even the figures that they have given us now, Musa, it is far above it. Seriously, we are in big trouble. Some of the things sometimes my heart weeps for JDM is that when JDM takes over from this government and comes over, the physical space, the way these people have damaged the physical space of our economy, Musa, it is so huge. Musa, United Kingdom.
Anyway, that message was sent by Nee. He goes by the name Nee Forest Gate in London here. He is talking about a CD that has to be changed because people are hoarding it.
No, Musa, that CD thing, something must be done because, Musa, even in United Kingdom here, as we speak, the highest denomination currency they have is the 50 pound. So how come that the president, the vice president, the the finance minister, and the Bank of Ghana, they will decide to print 200 and 100 Ghana cedi notes? Musa, how?
So that whenever they are in possession of the hundreds of thousands of those notes, at least they can manage it. If they don't print the 100 and 200.
Musa, what was the reason behind printing that big currency?
Yeah.
Because the politicians realized that the amount of money they are taking from the system, they were too huge. They can't carry it, so they want to.
Exactly what we are talking about here.
So they decided to print this huge money. Now the money is in few people's hands. Now they got to know the money is huge. What do? They change it into foreign exchange. That's the dollar. So it got to a point. It was these people, New Patriotic Party people, who were having this.
Hang on. So are you saying that on this niche point, are you saying that it will be too late to even, because by then they would have converted all the ill-gotten cedis into dollars?
No, Musa, it depends on the policy statement that the new government will bring in to make sure that they manage the changeover smoothly so that Ghanaians don't suffer in terms of the economy, in terms of inflation. Because you see, a lot of the money has gone into the hands of politicians, these current politicians. Because these current MPP guys, they are filthy rich. Musa, a lot of MPP politicians are rich. They are sitting on dough. If you manage to get a lot of money outside the banking system back into the system, we don't need this IMF 3 billion. Because the figures we are looking at, Musa, it is a good money. If you are saying that close to 80 billion Ghana cedis is lost to the economy, and that the government said we need to write half of the money off, this amount of money, Musa, can do a whole lot for the state. The Terminal 3 that JDM built, you can ask your question, how much did he spend on building Terminal 3? It's about $260 million. And if you look at the amount of money that these people have taken from the system, it can be well over 20 type of that facility in the country. So why should a politician sit back? The president, the vice president, the finance minister, and the Bank of Ghana. These four individuals. What gives them the audacity to think that, look, we can do what we want?
Hang on, let's welcome Mr. Joshua Malcolm. Are you there?
I'm here, Musa.
Joshua, get your cameras right in position and remove the darkness and the movements. We want to see only your mouth moving, not the whole room. Not the whole room. Your room is not as beautiful as mine. You can't bluff your way here, okay? That's a joke.
Musa,
Kwesi, go ahead.
Musa, if John Dramani Mama in government for 3 years, 6 months or so used 54 billion to develop Ghana, some of the things he did was Atuabo fiber optic cable that he laid across the eastern corridors to 25 communities. The communication base station, aviation industry development, Musa, Segleme, all those expenditure which John Dramani Mama spent 50-something billion was what he used to develop the country. Atuabo gas. And these governments, apart from close to 600 billion, which is on loan that they've borrowed, now we are talking about 80 billion, Mansa. So the question is, where is all this money? What have they used the money for, Mansa? If you ask all the NPP political group that, look, what have you used the money for? They can't tell you one iconic project they have done, Mansa. That is where the problem is. At least, even if the money has been spent, and they tell Ghanaians that, look, all the money has been invested in an infrastructure. We have developed dual carriage road from Accra to Kumasi, from Kumasi to Takoradi. We have built an infrastructure that will pay for itself. Musa, then the Ghanaians will be happy. But as we speak now, this MPP political grouping are not able to tell us, we the Ghanaians, what they've used this our colossal sum of money for. And that when John Dramani Mama take over from these people, and even if you don't put measures in place to retrieve this money, Musa, we are going to have a big problem. You see, when this government started flying private jet around, and I said, we are in for trouble. You know, when people started complaining, they did not budge because they knew what they were achieving, they were doing with the private jet. So they did all what they had to do before they give the private jet away. Musa, Ghana today, we need a special forensic audit to audit the whole nation.
I'm surprised Gabriel Chirakum made a comment that we have to maintain our interest in Guyana. And I'm thinking, what is going on? But in all this,
Musa,
one day, you know, answers will arrive. Let's go to Joshua. Let's go to Joshua to also say something before I come to
just a brief one. Joshua coming. Now, listen, Musa, whenever government change, we need an international forensic audit for the state. Then we find out that, look, all those private flying around, all the monies that has left the banking system, where is the money? When the other banks needed only 9 billion to restructure the bank, we collapsed them. We said, we can't manage. However, look at these people. Look at the amount of money they have wasted on behalf of the state. Musa, in fact, Ghana is bleeding. And it is time that me and you and others in the diaspora will begin to speak to Nana Akufo-Addo and his government that, look, we are highly disappointed. Thank you, Mansa Musa. I'll stop here for now.
Joshua.
Let's Conrad go on. I'm not in a very good place now. Let Conrad go on.
But that's fine. That's fine.
Yes.
Go on.
Let me just be brief. Let me say I really support what Chairman
Conrad, sorry, Joshua, you don't have to bring your camera in if you don't want to. So you can speak without showing yourself or anything. But if you want Conrad to carry on, that's fine. That's fine by all of us. Conrad,
So yes, thank you, Joshua, for Josh for giving me the opportunity. I think that to answer our comrade or the great Ghanaian from Forest Gate question, he is onto something really big. That is a very classic way of tackling corruption of currency hoarding. When people steal money, when people take bribes, in our part of the world, they often do it in Isan bottles and Ghana must go bags. Because working with Cecilia, the past kind of money into a bank will raise eyebrows, right? In fact, as we speak now, if you go into any Ghanaian bank and you try to deposit 20,000 Ghana cedis flat, you have to fill some forms. You may not know why you are even filling some of those forms, but they are meant to be some of them are meant to be money laundering reports. You know, people don't realize these. Whether it works is a different thing. I mean, in this country, if you went in there and you wanted to deposit £5,000 cash or withdraw £5,000 cash from your own account, free knowledge, your anti-money laundering officer in the bank, you will know. They won't tell you because telling you means it's tipping up potentially. But there are ways, and that's why organizations should be very careful when huge sums of cash are being paid into the account or drawn out without their knowledge or from unknown sources. But back to the question. If people are hoarding huge sums, and I wouldn't have wanted to comment on this because you don't tell the thief the tactics you can use to catch them when you come.
Sure.
But when we are in, there are ways we can. But I'm sure the MPP knows this because Buhari just played that card. It is a time-tried and tested approach. And if you can go back to ancient times.
I don't know. Let me come here quickly. I don't know what the strategy, whether internally you guys have discussed it or not, but if you have realized now your guys in Ghana, they are not shying away from saying it bluntly, because yesterday, for instance, you watch Good Morning Ghana, this fella, what is their name, Sami Jefi said and say, hey, this so and so they are candidates for jail, and a black have been saying it. The Fiamakwa have been saying it, Sandari, all those guys. So it looks as if now, as they say in English expression, the gloves are off. And, it's bare knuckle fight. So, obviously, we here cannot decide or pretend that there's something hidden. from the obvious that NDC must act, and they are not going to hide it. Because after, they are also not fools, they are not stupid. If they are going to resist handing over, it isn't because NDC kept quiet, they didn't threaten them. Whatever now you guys do, whatever they want to do, they will do it. So I think your base, your grassroots want to hear that, put it in brackets, revolutionary talk. I think they want to hear that.
Thank you, Mansa Musa. And I just want to say, yes, gloves are off. Look, these people are candidates for jail. The NDC will act and must act. I mean, the context in which Sami JMP and others have said it is clear-cut. For example, Governor Addison has breached the rules of the Bank of Ghana itself. People have been sent to jail for breaching procurement law rules. The MPP has done that. So why not him? You cannot, what has he breached? You are not allowed to lend more than 5% of the government's previous year's revenue. If you take 2021 alone, where the government went to the Bank of Ghana for lending to borrow from them. Now, the previous year's revenue was about 55 billion Ghana cedis. So if you work 5% of that, it means that Bank of Ghana should not have lent Government of Ghana more than 2.75 billion cedis. However, they ended up lending them how much? 35 billion, more than 10 times the amount that they should. This is a clear breach. Now, but the point I was trying to make is that my friend in Forest Gate has hit the nail on the head. It's one thing to say, Mansa Musa, you go to jail. But the tactic I'm going to use to do my forensic audit to get the evidence that jail, I shouldn't be telling you. It's like telling the thief I'm going to have CCTV at this point. They know how to avoid it. But the reason I will talk about it is I will talk about the foreign currency one my brother has talked about, because we have other tactics to deal with it. But when they come to this local currency one, it's easy. They have printed 200 Ghana cedi notes and however many huge denominations, and they are holding, because those holding a million cedis in 200 Ghana cedi notes or 500 cedi Ghana notes is easier than in 50 Ghana cedi notes, right? Now, have stolen it and stashed away. Some of them can't take this into their banks. Some are stashing it away in polytanks, like the lands minister, I'm told, Sister Dapa go in their working closets and stuff. If we come to power and within a short time, you don't even need to say we are scrapping 200 cedis. You know what? Redesign it. If the current 200 cedi has got the big 6 on it, we redesign it to the new one to have a Mansa Musa's face on it. Now, and we give a timeline, very short, aggressive timeline. You have to exchange your old one for this one by this period. And when you go to the bank to exchange it, you need to explain to us the business you did that ended up with you having 1 million cedis in your house. Those who stole it will not go and exchange. They may try to get other people to do it, but if we're vigilant enough, we will pick up the majority of that. And guess what will happen? The money they have stolen, which they are hoarding in their houses, some of them have even dark pits and fake soakaways in their mansions. A soakaway that is not actually a soakaway, it's septic tanks, and stash the money there, it will rot there. If we don't get it, it will rot there. Buhari did that very nicely. You know what he did? At some point, 80% of Nigeria's high currency values naira were in private hands, criminals and all kinds of people. How do you get them to bring it to the bank? And how do you mean that? And of course, it was a political ploy, because his opponents, if you like the PDP, people hoard for opposition. They have hoarded huge amounts of these, and they're like, when election time comes, we'll bring it. What did he do? He gave a very short, aggressive timeline and said, we are redesigning all those currencies. Which of those politicians was going to drive a track of that money into a bank to say, I'm going to exchange for the new one? If I exchange for the new one, it stays in the bank, and we'll know that you have that money, and we can come after you and ask you, how did you get that money? Giving you a doctor or a teacher or a lecturer before you went into politics, and no lecturer can make those amounts of billions. And so that is a classic tactic that my brother from Forest Gate has given on how you tackle corruption in terms of fraud. There are many other such tools which we shouldn't and cannot discuss. But by hook or crook, we must and we should get these MPP guys. If they put it in foreign currency, there are techniques we can do that. And to my brother Chairman Akwa, we don't need any international person to come to Ghana and do forensic audit too. I know, and I have very great friends who are very diligent, excellent forensic auditors in Ghana. What you need is the leadership and the determination. If we put the right people in Yoko, we don't even need the office of the special prosecutor and all these political gimmicks. If you set the competent hounds after these people, trust me, they will flee Ghana and leave their loot behind. So we must do it as a party. We must set a precedent, not just because we want to go after MPP, but because we want to make it possible that no appointee, whether MPP or NDC, should ever think that they can enrich themselves at the expense of the people and get away with it.
Very good.
You know, those crises that could go, under Kufuor's regime, Ghana at 50, all those massive hammers and cars, when we came into power, they were gone. What did they do? They buried most of them. They were hoping to come back to power. Of course, when you bury a car for 8 years, only God knows what its shape will be when you come back. And most of them, you forgot about them. They were rotten hulks.
Before I came to you, I wanted to ask you, but I forgot. Let me ask you before I forget again. Your comrade, your NDC comrade.
Musa, just a quick one. Musa, just a quick one before.
One second. Is she about something like this? We should hear her voice. Her lonely, not lonely, but significant, what we call it, female participation. Where is she?
Musa, can you give me a number second? Can I have a 30 seconds to add something to you?
No, hang on, Kwesi, hang on. You will get the time, please. Conrad,
what I want to add something to what Conrad said.
Kwesi, you are not listening. If you are listening, I'm asking for something. I'm asking him something to answer. What is it? Have you contacted her? Since we met the other time, I've not seen her since.
Oh, but I thought I sent her number to you. If I haven't, I can resend to you because you requested I sent you.
Yes, I did, but well. I don't know, but something like this, I would have loved that she comes.
I will speak to her on it and then get.
I have the number. Whilst you guys are talking, I will try and see if I can. Anyway, Kwesi, go ahead now.
Yeah, Musa, just let me add one or two to what my comrade just said. Conrad said. You see, the issue of the forensic audit, it will come in, comrade, because you know the reason why. A lot of currency have left the country already. The stolen loot, some are gone already. You see, the big guys who know how to move the currency out of the country is gone. It is the small fish who are sitting on the small money in the country, where there you can look the local system to trap them. But how about the billions of ones that has left the country already? We need to track all of them. It is very important. That's why I chip in the issue of the forensic audit bit. Honestly. You see, Musa, in one of your questions you ask about resisting handing over and all
Chairman,
that.
Sorry, before you carry on, the point I didn't disagree with forensics. What I was saying is that there are many competent Ghanaian auditors who can do the forensic audit. We don't need to export Uyibo man to go and look for it. That's the point I was trying to make. Domestication was basically what I was saying. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree. Because, comrade, you know what? These people, when they started flying around, there were a lot of things that went on the ground.
Absolutely.
And the time will come, we need to make sure that whatever has left the country, we trace it. You see, when you want to trace a currency that has left the country, you need a lot of experts involved here. So that's why I put that aspect in. Musa, you made mention on something concerning when these people resist handing over election. That is when they lost 2024 genuinely. Musa, I've said this and I want to repeat myself somewhere. You see, what before us in terms of 2024, we have a huge task. That's where, as a political party NDC, whatever differences we have in us, we need to put it behind us and come together and strategize. We need everybody, every member on board. 2024 election must be won at the polling stations, Mansa Musa. And we know very well that our leadership back home knows what to do and they are planning seriously. This time around, we are not interested in going to court for anything. The election must be declared at the polling station, at the various polling stations. So when the election is called for at the polling station and coalition station, that is where we need to win the election from. So we in the diaspora, whatever problems we are going through, we are praying that Accra will come in and say that, look, whatever problem you guys went through in terms of your election, it is sorted. So that we in the diaspora can put our teamwork together and get in and support our party back home, Musa. Musa, 2024, the issue of getting those who are going to man the polling stations, it is very important. Those who are going to make sure that when it comes to coalition with the numbers, it is very important, Mansa Musa. declaration of result at the polling stations, it is very important. Because even if you have 90 and you add a 0 to it, it can turn into 900. So we want to plead that we are not ready to tell MPP to tell us that they are not ready to hand over. All what we want to do is that we make sure the election is won at the polling station before it is declared. So that is a note I have for you. However, Musa, let's take this seriously. The issue of the country and where New Patriotic Party as a group has taken the country to in terms of the situation the Ghanaians are finding themselves, it is time we come together and tell NPP that, look, they have done enough in terms of the damage to the country. They have done enough in terms of how they have managed the country, the economy, and the citizenry. So we as an opposition party, we need to make sure that, look, we start working. It is even getting too long, Musa. By this time, we in the diaspora should have by now started meeting and strategizing and discussing on how are we going to help our party back home. But because of that difficulty, especially we in the UK and Ireland. So I want to plead with...
Coming back to UK and Ireland, you made mention from the very beginning. I don't know if Malcolm still want to remain aloof or you got something to say?
Is it on the UK Ireland issue?
On any issue we are discussing, basically.
I think I'm really disappointed on this issue about this UK Ireland issue election. Why it has taken us this long? I think I messaged you when you did send that link. That I think it's we should blame ourselves for how far we've come in some of these things. I personally blame the leadership and then every member within the branches. We could have resolved this issue when it started. But for some reason, we just all sat down and then thought, oh, Accra should deal with this thing for us. And this is where we are. Why should we wait for Accra to resolve some of our issues? Issues that we could have resolved it when it started. We all knew that every 4 years...
Before you carry on, you see, sometimes when you are hiding to do something, then God will be watching you. Mr. Samanshia, I don't know the kind of bottle you are swinging into your throat. Whether it contains beer, non-alcoholic, whatever it is. Jesus Christ. You are swinging that thing. Yes. And
I'm home, so don't worry.
You see? But I've seen it. You see, anyway. Welcome. Welcome. Go ahead.
So we all know after every 4 years there will be election. What brought about all this thing? It's about the register. So why didn't we put our house in order? Other branches have done it. So why didn't other branches do it? And these are some of the issues that I think the next administration should begin to start looking at right from the word go. And I also hear people are also continually writing petitions. I think Accra should stop entertaining this petition issue. It is getting too much, and this is what is holding us back. People are putting things together, rallying, and we are here. All we do is party. I don't know what is going on, honestly speaking.
But
I don't know where we are going.
Once I may agree with you, your statement there that you think Accra should reject or refuse, petitions. Democratically, I don't think you have any limits as to how many petitions can be written or can be sent. And so, if you say that, that won't be a proper democratic message since we are talking about democracy. So it means 100 or 1 million petition can be sent. And it has to be dealt with, isn't it?
There's a way you can receive the petition and deal with it and not make it become an issue. Okay. You look at it and see whether it merits. If it doesn't merit it, you just kick it out.
Fair enough.
Because if not that, everybody within the branches within the UK will keep writing petition. You look at the merit. Does it really merit in it that you did respond? If it doesn't, you just let go of it and then move on to another one as well. If not that, we will keep writing the petition and before 2024 is here.
Your group, your party, your membership, UK Ireland chapter, is recognized in Ghana, right?
Yes, it is.
So if somebody like me want to sue the group for inaction, for non-performance. I cannot do it here in UK. I have to do it in Ghana. You don't have to answer. You don't have to answer. You don't have to answer. Don't worry.
Why would you see somebody because they haven't eaten their food?
You see?
It's been mischief.
Hunger strike is a legitimate right, Abi. You don't to engage in hunger strike. You want to cheat me. You are not eating your food.
Hello, Musa.
You are welcome. You just joined. Wherever you want to start from within the, what do we call it, the package that we have, the topics that we are talking about. Whatever you want to say, take it away.
All right, thank you. You are aware I just tuned in. I only touch on two issues. One has to do with the UK Ireland chapter elections issues. To me, if I have my way, like what I'm going to do is I will put aside the register, appoint interim executives to oversee the affairs of the chapter for 2 years, so that they will be able to conduct a good register from the various branches. Then they can start a new election, because I don't understand why it should take this number of months to be able to sanitize a register. You see, so even as we speak, if they come out to say that they'll be able to sanitize the register, whoever loses will have a cause to complain. Because I don't understand why, how many names on the list that they've still not been able to sanitize it. I don't understand. So if I have my way, or if I have to write a petition to the national, the headquarters, I will say that they should cancel this election, appoint an interim committee to steer the affairs of UK, Ireland chapter for 2 years. Then thereafter, they will conduct a fresh election. Because I don't see why we are still here since last year. So that is my view on that aspect. Aside that, I don't have any. Maybe I don't have any information about the status of the various committees now, whether they are about to roll it out or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have enough information on that, so I can't speak to that. But that is my opinion. But my issue has to do with the minority in Parliament. They've scheduled 21st of this month to stage a protest. Master Musa, you are aware, and most of the comrades here are aware, that I've always been preaching that the only tool left of the minority is protest, to compel the government to do the right thing. And the protest is not the sort of protest we've been doing in previous years, where we'll be drumming from one end to the other, where most people will fall off the way, singing, some songs that are not, it doesn't even inspire people. So I'm just waiting keenly and see what the minority and the party are going to do on the 21st of August. Then I will see that we are serious or not. Because if you occupy the DOG, how long are you going to stay there? Okay, how long are you going to stay there? And what are the outcomes are you expecting? Are you just going there for a day and that should be it, or what? We are all aware that the current president that we have, I don't know whether it's because of medical reasons, he doesn't listen. Whatever that you say, he will pretend he doesn't even know what is going on. So if you decide to use the other means, like going to court and other things, nothing is going to work. He has stocked the court with his people, and whatever issue or case that you try to address it at the court will not wash. So the only option left to Ghanaians as a whole is to protest, to seek for whatever that we want. And these protests should have started long way back. We have given Nanado and his cronies, his cousins, Oforiata, Gabi, and Co. to take us for granted. We should have started this protest long ago. Actually, when they started, when the court declared our passport, our ID card useless, that was the time we should have started this protest. We have started from the court. You see, sometimes we should not allow our judiciary to skew the law in the favor of the government recklessly. So I think that if they are going to protest, the protest should not be a 9-day wonder. Once we occupy Bank of Ghana, we should be there until the government do the right thing. Whether the Bank of what do you call it? All those people, we want them to leave the office. Addison and Co. Until they leave, we should not leave there. But Mansa Musa, I have a problem. I don't want to use the word, but I will use it here. I sometimes don't trust our minority. We are the same group of people, arm of government, that said that they are going to accompany Judge Kwesi to court any other day that he is scheduled to go to court. What has happened now? So sometimes when they take a decision, I don't trust them because they will start it radically, and before you realize, everything is calm and nothing is done about it. And they will give fictitious reasons why they have cancelled such actions. So I am using this because if they are not able to do a successful protest,
obviously, you see,
it will be difficult for me to advise somebody
to go round in circles. But I remember when your chairman came on my show the other time, I asked him that when the changes came about, it is only natural as humans that some people will feel somehow, what is the word for it? Their egos, needed to be massaged, they were hurt. And so naturally, they had to put up a small fight. So I asked him what is the going now, and he said now everything is being resolved. So with the question of whether your party, some people are not being trustworthy or whatever, let's leave that one aside. Going forward, let's see how people are going to perform. Let me introduce. Let me introduce others to join. I will let you finish. I will let you finish. Let me introduce others to come in.
They always raise our hopes, then they end up not doing what they told us.
I will let you finish your point. Let me. Common Purpose Alliance. Hello.
Mansa Musa.
Oh, hello. Good evening. Welcome. And Joe, is it Joe Noel or something? Hello, Joe Noel.
Mansa Musa.
Okay.
Yeah, Mansa Musa. Good evening.
Okay. Then we have Matthew. Is it Matthew? Yeah. Good evening to you, Matthew.
Good evening.
Brilliant.
Boss.
So we've all been logged into it nicely. Mr. Ambrose, Dr. Mansa, finish your point so that we can move on.
Your Mansa Musa, to end, I would say that all of us on this platform and those who are listening, especially most of us who are living abroad, I only advise that you should urge all your people who live Accra and its environs to patronize the protest so that it will be massive and it will help us to achieve the aim of the protest.
Okay.
So that's all what I will say for now.
Nice
but
one.
We are also looking at the leadership, how they are going to steer affairs actually in regard to this protest.
Okay. Mr. Common Purpose Alliance, Godfather, affectionately his name is. Godfather,
yes,
well, if you can show your face, fine. If you don't want it, it's not okay. But let me ask you this. You see, regarding the daylight robbery or thievery, as I put it, we all accept, we all agree that the way our monies are being managed by most governments, especially this government. In fact, most governments have been incompetent or outright corrupt. It has happened previously. But this time, you and I will agree that it has just gone way beyond what is acceptable or what is manageable. The corruption is too high. My question to you from the common purpose is that, what are you guys doing? You guys should be the neutrals. Why haven't you organized a demonstration or some sort of protest? Silent walking about in town with placards. Why haven't you done that, Godfather? Take it away.
Mansa, thank you. Look, we have a big problem with our politics in Ghana. And I think it's about time we look at how to raise the bar of good governance. And unfortunately, it's become very difficult because so far as, look, if I speak to a lot of independent-minded people, they are totally hopeless because there is a case that if you look at successive governments, since especially the Fourth Republic dispensation, this argument that I was making the other day, and this is an argument that I keep making, that successive governments have been more corrupt than the previous one. That's a fact, and you alluded to that. Kufuor came in, thought Rawlings' government was so corrupt. Kufuor's government was more corrupt than Rawlings' government. Arguably, Atamil's government, may his soul rest in peace, he was not very well, so he couldn't even see the things he was signing. He was more corrupt than Kufuor's government. Mahama's government took it to the next level. And Akufo-Addo's government has confirmed the reality of our situation, that they all come in and become more corrupt than the previous one. So it's about time the people of Ghana, this is where probably we are getting to. This partisan divide and rule is killing our country. It's about time everybody assumes the position. If you are not in politics, assume the position that you are independent-minded. It doesn't matter who is in power. We have to look at both of them, that they play on the intelligence of the voters to come to power. And the problem we have is that you and I in the UK here, I don't know how many people on this platform in the UK or in the diaspora, if we want to practice democracy as is practiced elsewhere that we are emulating, we have to look at the fact that those around the political corridors of power who help to raise the bar of good governance is the main opposition party. Look at the UK here, for instance. Look at how Labour is being scrutinized because they seems to be the government in waiting. So they have to get everything on point. Can you imagine if Labour has brought in even Tony Blair to lead Labour Party to remove the Conservative? It was never going to happen. As much as Tony Blair was good in, if he wasn't good, he wouldn't be in power for 10 years. But the people will not accept it, that we have so many things against Tony Blair. Why are you bringing Tony Blair back? Look at even Corbyn. Corbyn was somebody that increased Labour youth support from Labour membership. People who are registered as Labour member and they pay their youth.
Because of time, I want to ask you, what are you driving at?
What I'm driving at, you have to get it. The people who raise the bar of good governance, it's not you and I. It's a main opposition party every country.
Godfather, you see the guys behind. most of them will have to come and have their say.
Let me finish.
Where you have just come, where you have reached, there is a question that I understand that you are saying that it is the opposition that has to.
No, that's not all I said. You see, forget about the opposition. I said those who are in waiting for to come in, they are the people who raise the bar of good governance.
Okay.
You and I don't go and demonstrate for bad things that are happening in the Conservative Party. We have representatives in Parliament who raise the bar there.
Yes.
That's the Labour Party.
Yes.
And they are scrutinized.
Yes.
Whenever they want to raise the bar, they themselves are scrutinized.
Okay, so it means in Ghana, that is what you want happen. It should be the same. That those in waiting should raise a certain bar, right?
Exactly.
Very good. This is what I'm saying. Now, my question to you is that you of the Common Purpose Alliance, look, I've heard of this prior to 2016. You were very prominent, very, loud as to what to say and how to organize yourselves. My question is, and from what you have just said, even here in the UK, you find out that the people doing the most demonstration is not the Labour Party. It's interest groups. Almost every week, people are doing demonstration against something. Most at times is against the ruling government. And these groups, they act irrespective of the color of the current government. But my question to you, why have you and your group, the independent groups, gone quiet this time? You are not active.
Nobody has gone quiet. I mean, you are assuming we've gone quiet. You haven't gone quiet. Over in the UK, you spoke about the UK. I haven't seen any interest group doing any demonstration apart from those about climate change people.
No, they do a lot. Look,
give me one example of demonstration. Apart from Labour Union, nurses. Hold on. Nurses, doctors, they are workers. They are workers who are going.
I said interest groups. I said interest groups. And even, all right, fine. Don't let us argue about that. Okay, don't let us dance to that. What I'm saying is your group, you were very powerful, very loud previously. My question, why have you gone a bit quiet? This because there is a demonstration to be had. Let me finish. I'll let you speak. Honestly, I'll let you speak. There's demonstrations to be had. The level of corruption, the level of what we call perceived stealing or thievery, it is vast gone overboard. We all know. Look at some monies, the figures they are quoting to us in billions. That somebody will sit somewhere and say, write it off. When in the UK here, the Bank of England said because of quantitative easing, they will be losing 150 billion pounds. And that the government will have to pay the next 10 years. They are not writing it off. And they know, even though some of them are being accused that, okay, the contract given to certain people were not clear, but everything is actually, what we call it, calculated, and everything can be explained as to what monies they use for what. In Ghana, we have a situation now where the amount of money being banded about, with you and I know very well, their primaries going about. Monies are plainly or in public being shared. I mean, this it can't happen anywhere. So I'm asking you, Common Purpose Alliance, you people compared to previously, you've gone quiet.
No, you want to repeat that, and I will debunk that.
Okay.
We haven't gone quiet, but let me explain something to you quickly.
Ahead.
You see, have you seen Carol Vorderman's video about? I'm not justifying anything, but have you seen that Carol Vorderman video about contracts and corruption?
Yes. Yes.
You've seen it, good. Yes. Okay, so let me land there. So you see, corruption is not peculiar to any system.
Yes.
But I know very well that the corruption that is happening in Ghana, similar ones happen here in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike Ghana, some people will be punished eventually. Now, let's go to Ghana. You see, the reason why some of us will look at demonstration as a waste of my time and everybody's time is that, let's be very honest. A lot of the things that are happening now, that's why I'm saying that every government becomes more corrupt than the other. Similar ones happened from 2013 to 2016. A lot of money
of which you guys were very actively against. So
what
has changed now?
We are very active talking about it. Let me land.
Okay.
We are active talking about it. Hold on. You see, a lot of things happened then, right? And then money's gone missing in the Bank of Ghana the same way. It's all there. You go online, you find it. But you see, people thought that when this government comes, some people will be punished for it. Unfortunately, a lot of the excesses that happened during the last government, nobody has been punished. In fact, let me give you a typical example. Can you imagine people taking double salary? You remember when MPs' expenses in the UK here, people went to prison for it. You remember that? During
yes. They call it. I've forgotten the name of that particular exercise.
Thank you.
Something. Is it allowances? Something. Yeah.
Yeah, MPs allowances. It was even allowances that they overstated.
It sends some people to prison. But you see, my good friend, what I'm saying is that look, irrespective of whether some people went to prison or not, me and you will have to perform. Irrespective of the color of the government. My accusation to you and your organization is that prior to 2016, we heard heavily from guys, you especially and your group. You organize fora or forums or demonstration here and there. Now you've gone quiet, and I want to know why.
Common Purpose never organized any demonstration against Mahama.
What did you organize?
We never organized any demonstration.
Forum. What did you organize? What did you write?
Yeah. So let me finish. Okay. I'm saying that if we have governments come in and they don't punish crime, and then we have the same people who we know they were corrupt, getting ready to come to power, this is where we need to condemn both of them. That is the problem we have in Ghana. We have a government. Let me give you an example. That's what I was going to say.
Oh, you mean we have to condemn both of them?
Let me finish. We have a government that people took double salary.
Yes.
People took double salary.
Yes.
You and I know for 4 years.
Yes.
You and I know if it was UK here, some people will go to prison for it.
Yes.
Nobody has been punished. And let me give you from behind, in private. You know who stopped the prosecution?
So in that case,
all of
us should keep quiet.
Let me tell you who stopped the prosecution.
So listen, that is irrelevant. So
it's very relevant.
I agree with you.
You say it's irrelevant?
Listen, I agree with you that no action has been taken. I agree with you.
Do you determine what is relevant and what is not?
Listen, I agree with you that
you are the host, Mansa Musa.
Listen, I agree with you that punishment has not been meted to anybody. But my question is that does that mean we should all now keep quiet? We shouldn't push it again.
If I'm saying something you don't agree, let me land before you come in. I'm saying that if the president himself stop people from being prosecuted, you have to understand that these two political parties, everything they say in public is you scratch my back, I scratch your back. They are doing.
I see.
No, I don't agree. I don't agree with you.
Question. You can't come in now. There are some people who have not spoken at all. We have to give everybody a chance.
NDC. Supposing NDC comes right now with Mahama, nobody in the MPP will be prosecuted. I'm telling you for it.
Okay. Maybe you are right. Maybe you are right. Maybe. Okay. Is it Joel or Joe or Matthew? Who wants to take on?
Yeah, Mansa Musa.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Let me say good evening to all those on my senior comrades and all other viewers and listeners of your program. I'm humbled to have been given this opportunity. I think I disagree with my father who just spoke.
Good.
And I don't know the essence of the name he bears on the Zoom here? Is it common sense people or whatever?
Common
I don't
purpose.
know what their actions are.
Common Purpose Alliance.
My brother, what is there? You can read it. You see, this is what
No. Please don't.
Listen, I've already explained. There's no need to argue. Please, there's no need to argue.
Don't get angry.
No, it's English. You can read it. Why are you reading it as if say you can't read properly?
Please. Okay, I'm sorry if I got your name wrong. All I'm trying to say is that you are trying to blame the opposition, but by virtue of your name, I believe you are part of the opposition. And so I don't think you have that kind of moral right to be blaming, and everybody thinks it is the NDC that has to be making all the noise. We are all Ghanaians. I don't think I go to the market to buy yam 1 cedi and you go and then say you are not NDC, so you are buying it at 50 pesos. We are all buying it at the same price. And so if it is hard, you also have to come out. And as you were saying, you were talking about Labour Party, if they brought on Tony Blair or whatever, they were not going to win. It's all, you are trying to allude to the fact that it is not necessary to bring John Mahama, or it is wrong to bring John Mahama. But the point is, this is a tried and tested man. And it is never
Joe, hang on a second. I need to clarify that fact. Godfather, can we assume that is what you meant by making those?
This is why I don't get involved with people like this sort of argument. With all due respect, at the end of the day, you tried and tested for what? At the end of the day, politics is about new ideas. The reason why I said that is that Labour Party, if they'll be so stupid to even bring Tony Blair to come and lead them. Because they know very well that...
Anyway, this one is... listen, that is your point, and you have every right. I wanted to be sure that...
he also make his point.
No. I wanted to be sure that what he said is what you meant. That's all. If he's...
What does he mean?
What does it mean? I'm saying that reference you made that Tony Blair will not be brought back. Were you trying to say that Bahama too shouldn't be brought back?
That's my position.
Fine, that's all right. It's your position. No, I'm not going to take it away from you. Godfather, relax. I just wanted to clarify that point, please. Joe.
If people are calling for new ideas, it was under John Mahama's tenure that we saw the building of E-blocks. We have never seen it in Ghana under Rollins, under Kufu, under Thomas. It was under John Mahama. Is that not a new idea?
Are we talking about infrastructure or we are talking about corruption, Mansa Musa?
But you are talking about new ideas. Is corruption a new idea?
No. You concentrate on the issue that Mansa Musa put forward.
Tell me,
concentrate
under John Mahama. Tell me.
No.
I think Joe. Joe, the moment I come in, if you guys, the moment I come in, listen, when I come in, you got to stop talking so that I can regulate. Otherwise, nobody's going to hear anything. I will give everybody a fair chance. Joe, I think what he has said is that, his point is that we are talking about corruption. And when it comes to corruption, he feels Mahama is a bad case. That's what he thinks.
Mansa Musa, I don't want to eat so much into your time. So I'm coming to corruption. He has alluded to the fact. He's not a subject of debate, so I don't want to. But I think it is better. You see, the radio is not just meant there for people to tune in. It is also there for purposes of education. And so when people say things that are not educative enough or are trying to, in a way, distort history or distort facts, we need to put it right. Tell me, under John Evans Atamos, which corruption practices was the government involved in? Tell me, under John Evans Atamos.
Even you want me to tell you, John Dramani Mahama. A question to tell him or not?
Under John Dramani Mahama. Let me finish and then the
No, you asked me a question, so don't say tell me. Is it a question?
Under John Dramani Mahama, whoever was found to have engaged
John Mahama was being investigated by Atamils for an errand to go and buy planes. Do you know
what happened? And what happened?
Please.
And what happened? You see, you are talking about new ideas. It was under John Evans Atamos.
No, you asked me about what corruption allegation, and I gave you one.
Can you please let me?
Gentlemen, can we listen to him, please? Let's listen to him, please.
We are calling for new ideas in the history of our.
Well, he asked me a question, so I have to answer. You see,
in
I
the
made my
history of
point.
our fourth
If you are
republic.
making your point about corruption, go ahead and make it. Don't come and make NPP and NDC argument with me. I'm not here to support
in the history of our republic. In the history
you
of
came
our
here
republic.
to make argument for John Mahama.
In
Go
the
ahead, take
history
your
of
argument.
our republic,
Leave me out.
the only president who has called for his vice president to be investigated was John Evans Atamos. Now, people might see it as, oh, what is it? But you see, this tells you the man's hunger and quest to fight corruption. Now, he allowed for his vice president to be investigated. And what happened? He was vindicated that the man wasn't corrupt. The vice president wasn't corrupt. Then this vice president had the opportunity to ascend to the throne, to the highest office. He also heard that one of his ministers had dreamt of making $1 million. It was just a dream that could never see light of day in any situation. But this man sacked this lady. Another person was found to have engaged in corruption. This man put him in prison. We are talking about Abu Gapele. It was John Mahama's own minister. He put him into prison. And so if people come and say that corruption from Rawlings to Kufuor, from Kufuor to Atamos, it's going up and up and up. It's never true. Under John Mahama, apart from Abu Gapele, who John Mahama himself arrested, there has not been any viable corrupt act that anybody in Ghana can point to.
Okay.
If not today, Mansa Musa, the 9 judges, Supreme Court judges, are all in the pocket of Akufo-Addo. And so if they say they should arrest even John Mahama today, he could be put into prison by tomorrow. If not, the NDC former appointees would have all been arrested. Why is it that not a single finger has been raised on the former appointees of John Mahama? And so I understand. People have their beef, people have their hatred for John Mahama, or for whatever reason it is. It is their own opinion. And I mean, they are entitled to those opinions.
I can see hands raised. I can see hands raised. So the time, let's share it small.
Thank you.
Is it Conrad?
Thank you.
Yes, Master Musa, thank you very much. And it's enriching to hear fellow Ghanaians, very erudite fellow Ghanaians contributing on this show. I'm talking about my brothers, Joe and my brother Godfather.
Yes.
If I get to there are a couple of points that Godfather made. Look, I entirely welcome the great job that people like Godfather and other, if you like, civil society bodies are doing, and to the great job. And there are two things that Godfather made, which I thought do not help our fight for corruption. I mean, one, the generalization. So every government has successfully been corrupt. Would the next one be more corrupt than the other? Is that implying that we should do nothing about it? I personally disagree. But some of the specific he made, and this is one of the biggest problems. If you want to fight corruption, what is corruption must be corruption. What is not corruption should not be corruption. And there are two things that my brother mentioned, which I want to clearly talk of. Double salary. Getting double salary is not corruption, and I'll explain why. In my life as an auditor, I've audited big companies in the UK here, where you find sometimes somebody's on maternity leave, and for the full 9 months, they'll be paid their salary and maternity leave. You could have so many errors at payroll. If you have an organization with, 50,000 staff, errors can happen. And many a company, this happens. The fact that the person, I'm sitting here, my company ends up paying me, let's go on holiday, and then I end up with a double salary, or I'm on paternity leave, and I end up on double salary. That doesn't mean I am corrupt. The point at which it becomes a problem is when the company has picked it up, and this is why most companies do payroll audits. And I'll come to the Ghana one in a bit. They do payroll audits. And when they find that I have received double salary, they'll write to me requesting the money. And if I then refuse to return that money, at that point, I am guilty of flouting potentially the Theft Act. retaining something that I knew is not mine and keeping. Now, how do you argue that I have seen the money that is in my account and all that stuff? But back to the Ghana case, that instance that made a lot of headlines was as a result of a specific payroll audit that was commissioned by the then president himself within his office as part of all these fights. Now, you have somebody who's an MP and a minister, and somebody, a controller, who's making the payroll unit, fails to understand that they shouldn't be paid their MP salary together with their ministerial salary, but only one with a top-up. I pay you as an MP with a top-up as a minister or vice versa. That doesn't mean the minister is corrupt. That thing happened under President Kufuor. It happened under President Mills. It happened under President Mahama. I can bet you on my last dollar, it potentially is still happening because these are errors with some of our payroll practices, just like ghost names and stuff. And so when we start playing political football or corruption football with things that don't seem to be corruption, you end up in a situation where if you go down that route and you don't find it as corrupt, people will think that you are not playing the right ball. So for me, that particular one is not because MDC or MPP, but payroll errors have always existed. If it is payroll fraud, where I pay myself, that is fine. But if I'm supposed to pay my brother, godfather, £2 to his account, and I inadvertently make double payments to it, and he never sees it, can I get police to go and arrest him because I paid him double and he never returned it? So I wanted to clear that. He also made another comment about money missing from Bank of Ghana. Let's be, in mind, from what I know, the records I've read at Bank of Ghana, not a single dollar was ever missing from the Bank of Ghana under the previous John Mahama administration. In fact, the matter that is being spoken about now is the humongous $60 billion CD loss, which is effectively $6 billion, double what we are getting from IMF. And it's because of the bad financial management of lending about 80 billion, right, cedis within 2 years, way in excess of what they are allowed to lend out. Not that we are saying money is missing. Now, if you go back and look in the period 2012 to 2016, in 2012, about 1.5 billion cedis profit was made. It came down to about 900 million cedis in 2013, about 700 in 2018, 900 in 2013, 14, 15. When the previous government was exiting office, the profit they had was 700 million Ghana cedis. This government, yes, some years they made, in fact, they started the first 2 years with losses. Then they made some profits. And this year, the biggest loss they made was 1.5 billion CD loss. I think somewhere in 2017 and 2018, they made rough 1.5 billion loss in 2017, about 900 billion loss in 2018, and then a couple of profits, 1.8 billion, 1.5 billion, 1.2 billion in 2019, 20, and 2021. 2022, a profit of 1.2 billion in 2021 suddenly moved to 60 billion loss in 2022. And that is the complaint. And the fact of them, if you look at some of the expenses, when they tell you they spend 67 million on computer-related expenses, even if you were buying new computers for the entire Bank of Ghana, you shouldn't be spending that much. And when you spend that much on computers, it shouldn't be an expense because these are assets. You don't write them off. You capitalize them and you depreciate them over the period. So if even Google, I don't think will be spending that much on just those expenses. And so the complaint we are saying here is not the Bank of Ghana money is missing there. And then for me specifically, the charge that money was missing under the previous administration in Bank of Ghana, I don't think it's true. What am I saying? In the corruption fight, we must rightfully diagnose what is corruption and tackle it, and what are errors by state institutions. And so, Mansa Musa, if I buy airtime from you for £100 and I mistakenly make two payments to you, 100, making 200, I can't get police to arrest you or prosecute you because you have received double payment. We have to be clear on that. The right diagnosis is important if the right solutions have to be applied in the corruption fight. I just thought I would bring that to
Thank you very much. Listen, Jeremy, I've got only men here, so Jeremy, I've got just 5 minutes. We have to share, in fact, 4 minutes. We have to share small. So 30 seconds each, just run up. I'll start with Mr. Kwesi Akwa. What do you got to say, Kwesi?
Yeah, thank you so much, Mansa Musa. You see, the gentleman who just spoke, I quite like my other colleague said, I disagree with him big time. Because you see, if you want to make a submission concerning corruption, you try to take issue at stake and wait and check which one deserve more time to spend in terms of corruption. You know, a pressure group, what it does is to influence a public policy. You try to focus your attention on moment of time in terms of public policies. This current government, the amount of corruption and the issue that has happened in this governance, this current group, I've never heard them spoken. If not today, I never knew there is even this group exists. Because since Nana Akufo-Addo took over, it's a whole lot of things that have gone on in Ghana, in the state called Ghana. And I've never heard one press statement from this group. You see, the way he's trying to speak a lot, the way he spoke, if you analyze it carefully, you would understand that he's trying to weigh most of his pressure on the former government. But, gentlemen, this current NPP government, the colossal amount of corruption that has happened in this government is mind-boggling. The amount of money that has been siphoned from the system, individual corruption that has occurred, those are the individual issues we need to take it on. So that when we want to fix the problems in the state, if it is a problem with the one individual, we need to deal with him, jail that person, like JDM did to his ministers. Let's do it in the same government. However, I want to challenge this group. Currently, we have Cecilia, the past case pending.
We are nearly out with time, honestly.
Yeah, let me, Alan. Cecilia, currently, we have a Cecilia, the past case pending. It's a big issue. I want to challenge this group that they should get involved. Issue statement concerning that matter and more. Let's hear from this group so that we know that, look,
I will ask him to tell us where we can find them or where you have to fish them out. So that is a good question. But because of the time, I need to rush you. I'm sorry. Because of the time.
Speak to the current situation. Anyway,
the next one, I will give the last one to the Common Alliance people. But the next one I want to go now is Dr. Mansa. Matthew, do you want to say something quickly?
Yeah.
As quickly as you can, 45 seconds, please.
Yeah. Good evening, comrades. This is Osofu Bunsu, JDM door-to-door leader and founder. Bank of Ghana, to me say, or no print or print, that is my question. It's not about whether they will go for demonstration or they will not go for demonstration. It's their right, it's Ghanaians' right for people to demonstrate so that the government of the day will see that this is the anger of the people. So I am all right. Bank of Ghana, apart from demonstration, a man for Bekon, Bank of Ghana will to me say, or no one kasa to me print this as the America be only say, your parliamentarians no more dear, but never do and yet be a demonstration quan on to me the enya the umbinya. One, yeah, to about the soldier for parliament. Mansa Musa, did you hear anything about that? Yeah, the soldier for parliament up to now. Yeah, I'll remain my comments here. Thank you.
I tell you what, next week, Friday, we'll do the same thing again. And you people, when I invite you, come as early as you can so that we'll be able, because time will also, not me for so will be also, we'll cast a share. Fache me, but next week, my friend, I'm rantem. I think at this juncture, all what I have to say before all of you go away is that, the current I'm consuming in this room, I've put on 2 fans. They are blowing me and the equipment, all taking electricity current, our rent and everything. In fact, we have only one, what do we call it, advert. We are struggling. So any little help, gentlemen, any little help. I'm just appealing to all of you. Anyway, I will give the last but one word to Joe. Just 15 seconds.
Well, thank you once again. I think when it comes to corruption and the eagerness, the zeal to fight corruption, And as like I indicated earlier, my father did indicate that we are looking for new innovation. We are looking for new ideas. John Mahama has exhibited that. In the history of our Fourth Republic, he is the only president who have prosecuted his own minister. And that is the new innovation. It has never happened before. And so when we talk about tried and tested, these are the kind of things we are looking at.
Okay, next week, try and arrive early. Try and arrive early. Yes. The last word, honestly, the last word. I haven't seen any hands, so the last word will go to Mr. Godfather, affectionately called. His name is there. I know his name, but he's known as Godfather of the Common Purpose Alliance. In fact, in 45 seconds, round it up. Say, do you agree with me that we should have a massive inter-Ghanaian, not only NDC or MPP, but all of us have to raise our mouths, our hands, our energies, and let people know, especially the international community, know that our type of democracy is rather causing the problems that is making the youth, run away from their own homelands. Our homelands are becoming unlivable because our leaders are mismanaging, misruling everything. Mr. Godfather, for the 45 seconds, take it away quickly.
That's exactly what I said. And it's funny, I listening to everybody. It looks like they are all NDC sympathizers and they think that my commentary is putting down NDC. Me, I don't really care about MPP NDC. Whoever says he hasn't heard of me is because either you are so much NDC or MPP. That's why you haven't heard of common. Joe,
I am confrontation.
I will do that because that's exactly what they are doing. You see, when people are talking, Mansa, listen.
Godfather. Godfather,
oh yes, when people are talking, you don't shut them down.
Into mama platform, they say, at least expose yourself. Tell them where they can find you.
And you see people hear of him. What is the meaning of that?
No,
do you hear of everything
that
people?
Do you think it's a platform say what? Obviously, he hasn't heard of you.
So
now you have the chance to let them know about you. What is wrong with that?
No, mistake. So why don't you listen to what I'm saying? Why are you cutting me in? I'm saying, that is not even a relevant point. Say, it's nice to hear of you today. So let's hear more of you. The fact that you haven't heard of me, that doesn't mean we are not saying anything.
Okay.
That doesn't mean we are not saying anything.
Fair enough. So put yourself across,
so
please.
That's what I'm saying.
Put yourself across and let's be hearing you. Let's know where you are from, what you do, and how to find you. As simple as that, please.
If you are on Facebook, if you are on wherever you want to find out what people are doing, when you hear of their name, you Google it and you find what they are doing. Go and Google Common Purpose. You see the articles we've written. The fact say you are not reading them doesn't mean say we are not doing anything.
You see, Godfather, you see when he says he hasn't seen you written anything, I didn't say that because I wanted you to come in to say, look, you have written it. It's here and there and there and there. That's it. Anyway, listen. It's not a big fight.
All of them are talking as if they want to gang up and talk against my position on MPP. The problem with me pentokwa, me they won't tell me pentokwa. When you ultimate no intimi ya make it be the problem with Ghana is
Jeremy, thank you very much.
You can raise Mahama to all the heights. When Mahama 26 months to 2012 election, he overspent 4 billion.
We are going to do the same thing next Friday. Listen, I'm going to. This one is recorded. Next Friday, we will talk about this all over again.
Mahama overspent 4 billion Ghana cedis 2012. Go and Google.
Okay, that's fine. Listen,
my brother, it's overspent corruption. See, this is where we have to get things clear. Overspending your budget slippages, deficit or surplus. If you get a budget deficit, you have overspent what you planned. It doesn't mean you are corrupt.
Okay.
Overspent to do
gentlemen,
you said you have overspent by 4 billion.
That's all
we've got time for. And overspent is not equal to corruption.
Seriously, that's all I've got
time for.
So
what did he use the money for?
What? So you said overspent. The portion that was within the spend, what was it used for? That's the question you should ask.
No. What did you use the money for? Do you even know the overspending or what came out of it? You haven't even asked. You haven't researched.
No,
because you
the
just
term
want to
overspend to finance. Me, I budget to spend 100.
Go and campaign for Mahama in Ghana to win. No civil society.
That is inconsequential. You see, you can't just say,
oh, that's what you want.
Your father sent you to go and buy, spend 100 cedis in the market. You spend 120 cedis.
This is the defense you people are doing all over on social media.
No.
The person doesn't like MPP.
No, it is irrelevant. I will say the MPP overspend. Therefore,
go and win 2024 and come and face Ghana.
Please, this is not about 2024.
All right, listen, thank you very much. Conrad and Godfather, I thank you big time. Next week, next week Friday, I will invite you guys again, please.
We will win 2024 with or without comments like this.
Thank you.
The fight for corruption, you have to diagnose corruption right. You can't just say he has overspent, he's corrupt.
Thank you.
Did I say he has overspent, he's corrupt? What comes into corruption? Is it not the same overspending that you cannot account
corruption
for?
Is let's define corruption clearly here.
Stop this corruption is
the abuse of
you can't use this English thing. Me, I do buga politics, not this.
Buga has to be contextualized. It's when you have public property for private gain that
overspend, you can't account for it. This is how politicians in Ghana do. If
you look at the budget,
that's what they do. He overspent.
Let me be honest with you, my brother.
He could not account.
Go and find, apart from Botswana and Namibia, find me one single budget in Africa that has not always overshot its spend. That is not corruption.
He overspent. He couldn't account for.
That's not true.
Go and find the document.
That is not true.
And challenge that document.
All right.
Okay. Bring that document.
Thank you very much. I've got to go.
Mansa, please get
I'm not going to debate whether Mahama is corrupt.
I've got to go. I've got to go. Thank you very much.
Go to the voters and campaign for him.
No, I don't have to campaign for somebody because they are not corrupt. We have to define corruption properly and have a discourse on it. We can't just say, oh, you have overspent, you are corrupt. You were paid double salary.
Why are you saying this government is corrupt?
Okay, good. When you are looking for evidence of corruption, when somebody has appropriated public assets for private gain, that is what you talk about as corruption. For example, when you have had under PDS 1.5 billion cedis
no. You see, this is the problem. I don't want to listen to all this. We know that this government has done a lot of things that smells of corruption. But the problem I have with you NDC people is that you think NDC was never corrupt in government.
Nobody has said that.
Dishonesty is what I don't like.
Nobody has said that. You see,
you
are quickly saying
every corruption allegation anybody thinks about
you have to define it properly.
You shoot it down. Shoot it down. NDC was never corrupt.
No, my brother.
That's why they are coming back to face Ghana.
All right. Okay. Gentlemen.
No, NDC was never corrupt.
You can't just say overspend.
I'm saying NDC was never corrupt.
No, in this country, we have had budget deficits.
Mahama and his corruption. They were never corrupt. So they should come and
no, please. You are jumping the argument.
No, I'm
this
not
country we have had budget deficits. Is that corruption?
The argument you people make. Everything you have explanation for it. You think MPP they don't have explanation for all the
Conrad,
budget overspend is not.
I'm done. I got to close. Please.
I'm going.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
please.
Okay, good night.
Next week we'll do it. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's passionate and it's very emotional, but we'll do it all over again next week. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Have a good night. Bye-bye. Right, so there we finish with tonight's show. Let's see. Okay, so we double you know say mo amutu me be kasa e mo amuntu me so ankasa no. Ye fancy ha nyame ya adoma ochina. Ye be san atoa so. Ben, last minute, your friend say you need your jumo. If oh. You see, I'm even say airbo microphone or airba system name.
Free music and I'll check if you say it be now the mouse on the call screen is on what cut it off the speakers no because the computer then show the speakers.
Okay. And the speakers in Grabe who were here for.
Check my research if you are no honor.
Okay. All right. Okay, yeah. Team viewer. Auntie, me trap picture them out. Huh? Me trap picture them out. And now, baby, so. Ben. Me say me trap picture and send one answer over to your bus straight.
So on already, yeah, don't worry.
Okay.